Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast out for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I I'm gonna tell y'all, man. I'm tired this morning. I'm tired, but I got so much energy. If that makes sense. I'm tired, but I got so much energy, and the reason why, man, we had ourselves a beautiful, beautiful time last night. Last night was the Redeemed Awards, and I want to thank each and everyone that came out that made this event an overwhelming success. Made it. This is our first one. Like I said, there's a little kinks in the armor that we need to work out a little bit, but as a whole, everybody had a fantastic time. It was a great event. It definitely was a great event, man. And everybody that's out there, post your pictures. We took a lot of pictures. They took a lot of pictures, and I have a video that I'm gonna put together. I'm going to edit it. I did not go live with it, because I want to be able to edit the video and do the things I need to do to make sure that it's right. Um, Great, yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something. A great event, man. It was an amazing event. The turnout, we did not have an empty seat. As a matter of fact, we had to bring other chairs out. We had to bring other chairs, set up other chairs and tables to accommodate all the people. That's what it was like. Good morning, Diano. Good morning, Diano. Good to have you. Good to have you. We had to bring other tables and chairs out to accommodate the people. We had a great crowd, man. Great. It was an adult crowd. Big dog. That was Big Dog. How you doing this morning? Yeah, we had a great adult crowd, man. They really entertainment was amazing. Entertainment was amazing. Man, it was just overall, man, from start to finish. It was an amazing event. I definitely enjoyed being there, being a part of it. It was, man. Listen, when I tell you, and I want you to listen when I tell you, we did not have an empty seat in the building. We had to pull out more tables and chairs to accommodate the people. Everybody, a lot of people waited all the way at the end. We were trying to break down. People were still standing around, taking pictures and doing different things. Man, thank you. I want to thank each and everybody that took their time, because they didn't have to. They didn't have to. They took their time to come out and to celebrate the recipients with us last night. Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. Captain Leonard, good morning. How you doing this morning? Uh-oh, Leonard, we can't hear you, brother. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
There you go. There you go. You had to hit that button. You had to hit that wake up button. Leonard, what did you think about the Redeemed Award last night, brother?
It was a really good time. Some extraordinary people,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
extraordinary people that
Mhm.
are really about, serving others.
Mhm.
And it was a lot had to do with people who led with their hearts.
Yes. Yes.
And that was the
Yes.
biggest thing is that what they went through and how they came from where they came from and
Mhm.
dedicated their lives to helping others.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
that
sir.
seems to be the theme
Mhm.
and what
Mhm.
they all had in common.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna tell you something, man. From the way we started, man, and Leonard, uh,
Yes, sir.
can I say this, Leonard?
Sure.
They had a handsome host too, man.
Oh yeah, he was clean.
Yeah,
Who
what
who
you?
was the guy you had hosting?
Oh, no more festival. Mufisala was sharp. Boy, Mufisala was sharp. I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell you something. All the way from and the reason why, there's always certain things that happen in a production, and we got a lot of people that's coming. Let me do some shout outs real quick. I got a lot of people I want to see. Good morning, Robert Max. Good morning. What's that? Cons. I apologize. Man, I'm killing that name. Good morning, Keisha. Good morning, the darkness. Good morning, Cash. Good morning, Young. We got a lot of people coming in, and I apologize if I can't get to each and every one of you all's name. I definitely appreciate you all being here, but there's always something, Leonard, at the beginning of a production that has a tendency to set the tone of that production.
Hmm.
And I have to say, and I'm not gonna say it was me, because it had nothing to do with me, but the keynote speaker,
Oh, he was excellent. He was excellent, and his whole story,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
getting noticed the way he was noticed,
Mm-hmm.
doing what
Mm-hmm.
he was doing after all he had done and been through,
Yeah.
dedicated his life to doing this, that, and the other,
Mm-hmm.
and how he was noticed doing that,
Mm-hmm.
which made way for what he had dreamed about.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just had to go through that
Mm-hmm.
horrible experience,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
which led to him being noticed
Mm-hmm.
and winding up on Broadway.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is, it's amazing, Leonard, how when we, and I say we, I'm talking about all of us, get out of the way. When we get out of the way and let God do what God's gonna do, that's how we can. To me, that's how we make it. We
Because you
got to
don't
get out
get
of the way.
nowhere. You don't get nowhere hating. You don't get nowhere
No,
feeling horrible. You
no.
don't get nowhere holding grudges.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about that, and I'm on that every day on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
What's next?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that I have dealt with that have done substantial things,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about what you talk about, what you've been through, what you gonna do next.
Exactly, exactly.
Even sitting with Al Sharpton
Mm-hmm.
on a couple of occasions.
Mm-hmm.
The man's schedule is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happens, he always said, "Okay, so what you gonna do next?
Yeah,
What you
yeah.
gonna do?" It's the
Mm-hmm.
action about it. What are you going to do? I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to hear about all that other stuff. What you gonna do now?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly.
What's the next step?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what has happened, where you came from, what
Mm-hmm.
happened to you, all your attention
Yeah.
need to be on that next step. It
You know,
has to be.
what if a person is not careful, one party that's gonna sell out every day, without a shadow of a doubt. One party, because people can always be invited to this party, and a lot of the time, people that are negative are going to attend this party.
That's
But
right.
the positive people don't want to go. And I'm gonna tell you what party that is, Leonard. But a pity party.
Exactly. It's always full,
It's full.
and
It's
it don't never
full.
stop. I don't know
Exactly,
how they keep that party going.
man. How to say it,
They
Leonard?
ain't serving no drinks. They ain't doing nothing.
Leonard, you sure you sure you witty, man. Talk about and the party don't stop.
No, I don't. It just don't. And I am man. That is one of my like. If you're not going nowhere, if you're not trying, if you're
Mm-hmm.
not feeling like you can do better, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not fooling with you.
Exactly. Exactly. Good morning, Miguel. Good morning to you as well. Good morning, William. William Steele. Good morning. Glad to have each and every one. Deontay. Good morning to you. James. Good morning as well. I'm trying to call all your name, but y'all coming in so fast, man. Y'all bombarding me, which is a great thing. Keep coming. Please spread the word. Send me some of them hearts and them all the little stuff y'all be putting on the screen. Send me some of that stuff too. Show the brothers some love. Show us some love around here. But Leonard, that's absolutely true, man. But a pity party, and it'll go on 24/7. It'll go
Yes,
on
indeed.
24/7.
Hmm.
And I just don't want to be there. Thank you for
Right.
the
And look, you
thank you
can
for the
sometimes you
invitation.
can.
But Leonard, sometimes you gotta just say thank you for the invitation. But unfortunately, I would not be able to attend.
Thank you. I thank you. I can't watch. You're gonna have some. There's gonna be some people always around. You can tell who be hosting them parties too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they good hosts now.
Oh yeah, you can tell them in their speech and they walk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they try to sabotage others.
Yep.
And man, it was just the stories yesterday. That's
Yes.
what we as a people do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we
Mm-hmm.
as a people do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make and man, my condolences went out to Big Mama
Mm-hmm. Yes.
because the
Yes.
last time I saw her, her husband was with her,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Exactly.
they came
Yeah.
to your event
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
at the other spot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I know
Exactly.
how man they was just so nice,
Mm-hmm.
such nice people, and to see her come back and still doing and take on the pastorship
Mm-hmm.
and feeding people,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
what other man, if God gonna catch us, man, let him catch us doing something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know that if the time was up, that you spent your time doing those things that were
Mm-hmm.
righteous.
When look here, And this might sound kind of strange. I had to pause for a
You
second.
are strange.
Yeah, very, very. Yes, sir. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I'm a uniquely strange. But if the time if when the period come on the sentence of this thing called life, when the period come for me on the sentence of this thing called life, Leonard, I love to have that period to come when I'm doing something I love.
That's right, man.
When I'm
Don't what the song used to say, don't let him catch with your work undone.
yeah, there you go. There you
You
go.
remember that song?
Yeah,
I know you
yeah,
remember.
yeah. I remember the song. I used to sing it and sing it well and sing it well. Yes,
And
I did.
as she mentioned, it's a good testimony
Yeah.
for
Mm-hmm.
Christians.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't about nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good testimony for a Christian to have that he trusted God and had faith in what God had in store
Mm-hmm.
for him, because
Right.
that was what those folks were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That despite all those things, you would be amazed. Like she said, and it grew and it grew and it grew.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved feeding people.
Yeah.
It's not something she doing for anything else, but the fact to see them with a smile on their face because they had a meal.
Mhm. And see, people a lot of time, and she do it because she love people. Because
Yeah,
Big Mama has one of the best hearts you'll ever find. She has a beautiful heart, but people don't know the backstory. Sometimes people don't know the backstory
right. I
of
never knew the backstory.
yeah, of why she do what she doing and why she's so passionate about doing it. It's really a connection to her, even though she's feeding people.
Hmm.
It's still it's a connection that she have to her childhood
Yes, and
with her mom and all that
it's
stuff.
amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, I never knew that. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
met her just. I think I met her that one time before,
Mm-hmm.
and she was very nice. Then we talked just a little, and just to hear that story of supposed mentally retarded
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
before folk had,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
how she wasn't walking,
Yeah. Yeah.
and her mother would pick her up and bring her to the kitchen with her every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
don't tell me what. That's why I get so upset when I hear people put us down, put our people
Mm-hmm.
down like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're some of the strongest people in this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, man, we had to bring more tables and chairs out, man, to accommodate everybody, man.
And it was very nice.
The turnout was absolutely amazing,
Yes.
man. The turnout, man, just have people there and celebrating people, celebrating each other. That man, look, you can't get no better than that, man. You can't get
Right.
people telling me already. They say, man, look here, man. Next year we got to have a place double this size. They said next year, man, we got to have a place double this size.
That's the way it grows, man. And that's the first one.
Yeah, yeah, that was the
That's the
first one.
first one, man. And
But
shout out to Captain Dennis sent his
yes,
person
yes, sir.
there to speak for
Hmm.
him.
And he had
And
a
it
good
was
time.
just, yes, man.
Mhm.
I want to say assalamu alaikum
Yes,
to
sir.
those brothers
Absolutely.
and sisters who believe and how important it is to try to keep the peace. And those
Exactly.
cats, the peacekeepers,
Hmm.
dedicate their lives and their work to
Hmm.
going into the roughest places, man,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
gang violence, murder, you name it,
They
and
walk right through it.
try to break and get these folks to take ceasefires, talk out their
Hmm.
differences, and
Hmm.
find something else to do in life except destroy one another. Shout
Exactly.
out to the peacekeepers, man.
And man, like I said, I again I want to thank everybody, man, that took the time, man, to come out and celebrate the recipients with us last night, man. Thank you, thank you. Got a caller, Rico. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can complain, man. Welcome to a new day, bro.
Hey, welcome to you as well, brother. Welcome to you as well, man. Everything good with you? Good morning. How you doing this
Man,
morning?
I can't complain, man. I wish you would have live streamed that show, man, so I could have, at least recorded it so I could have went back and watched it, man.
Well, I did record. I got to go back. I'm gonna go back and edit it. I didn't live stream it, but I did record it, man. And Rico, man, we had it was a beautiful turnout, man. We had some beautiful people there, man, and their stories was absolutely amazing, brother. Everybody from start to finish, from the keynote speaker all the way down to the last person that took the microphone, man. Everybody had an amazing story. Like I said, man, we had to we had to bring out more tables and chairs to accommodate everybody.
Right, right,
Yeah, yeah.
right. Sound like a very motivation.
Yeah, man. Leonard was there. He'll tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Like I said, everybody had a good time, man. People stayed. to the end, man, and we had to kind of push him out the door a little bit, man, because we had to break the place
You
down.
know, I had to hurry up and go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so some people had to go,
Yeah.
but my thing was, man, Rico, it was I thank God, man, for the Redeemed Awards. I thank God
I
for
heard that.
yeah, and for allowing me to be a part of it, man. It was amazing, man. My daughter was there. She was helping me last night, and she kept saying, "Daddy, this is beautiful. She kept saying that to me throughout the night. Daddy, this is beautiful. I'm loving this." And that's my daughter, man. To have her to appreciate it like that at her age, man, I was like, man, this is sharp. But what's on your heart, brother?
Not much, man. I wish I could have made it, man. You know that's why I didn't want to make no promises, man. I had a stupendous weekend myself, man. I had a couple of reunions with people that I hadn't seen since like '96 and 2000 and 2003, man. I mean, it was like one big whole reunion, and I didn't expect it. But I guess that's the reason why I really don't make plans all the time. You know, I will make plans and stuff, but sometimes I really won't dedicate myself to something because you never know what comes up. And I know you kept asking me what I'm coming, and I'm like, man, I don't know. And man, I tell you, I've been occupied ever since Friday, man. But these are like very close people, man. It's very dear people to me. And when I got the phone call today, it came in from Maryland. They call them the DC crew.
Okay.
But when I got the phone call today, it came in from Maryland, man. I knew my whole weekend was consumed. Then I knew what I was gonna be doing.
Yeah, there you go.
And so went to meet them and then bumped into a couple more people. I think I told you the story before about the young man life that I saved when he was a baby that fell into the hot tub.
Yeah.
And I knew his father. Well, I hadn't seen his father since even before then. And I saw him Friday night.
Wow.
So man, it was just like, man, it was a big love fest, man. I mean, you know, and I really don't do big crowds. I ain't gonna lie, I don't do big crowds like I used to. You know, and it took me a second to get comfortable, you know, than being around all those people, man. But it was awesome, man, just seeing those faces, you know what I'm saying? Some after 20 years, I hadn't seen them. And I really didn't think I would see any of them ever again because they got married. You know, the last time I saw them, you know, we were all single doing our thing. Now they married and got families and children about to, you know, graduate and stuff. I mean, life is totally different. And to see these people and not expecting to see them ever again, man, you just don't know how good it feels, how good it felt.
Now, I hope you collected numbers and everything and a way to get in contact with it so y'all don't have to lose track again. Because I know at one time you told me that.
Yes.
I know one time you told me you had a phone.
Some of the people we didn't lose contact with, it's just that, like I said, they live so far away and they have families. You know, life does what it does. You know what I mean? Like some of them I haven't seen since before I moved to Florida and came back, and I've been back here since in 12 years. So that goes to show you how long it's been. So even though we do communicate on social media here and now, I still never thought I would see them again in that atmosphere. I mean, the crew. I put it to you that way. The crew.
Yeah.
We were all.
That's good. Man, and it sounds like y'all had a good time. And I'm gonna go ahead and ask you something real quickly, man. Corey, got another call on the line. I'm gonna get to that call as well. You sent me a text. I think you was a little doubtful though, man, about old Tank, man. I think you was a little doubtful about Tank for a minute.
No. What it was, I was always strong about Tank. But I was confused, man. You know, I get up so early and go to exercising and stuff, man, and I got sort of thrown off Friday night. And so when I hit you up and said that about the fight being on Sunday, I was thinking Friday night was Saturday, man, and I had been scrolling through my phone and trying to find that fight. I was hot. I said, I can't find the pay-per-view. They streaming the fight. I said, they don't got, man. I ain't going to be able to watch the fight. So, no, but I always had faith in Tank, man. There wasn't no doubt in my mind.
He fought that fight a lot different than his other fights, though, man. It was a lot different.
He had to peep him out. He had to, you know, find his weaknesses, man. I mean, you like Floyd. I mean, a smart boxer, you know what I'm saying, just ain't going to come in and try to dominate you unless they know they can. But for the most part, if you got any kind of danger about yourself, they're going to feel you out and try to see what your weaknesses are. And he found it. Just, you know, he found it. He saw him sticking that head out, and he let him go ahead and walk into it. With that punch. I mean, same thing with Pacquiao.
Yeah.
When Pacquiao got knocked out cold.
Yep.
You know, he stuck that head out there 2 or 3 times.
Lead with the head.
And so, you know, Buddy finally saw it.
It's not a good thing to lead with that head, brother. And I kept hearing his ring corner, his corner man telling him all the time, and keep your chin tucked. Keep your chin tucked. because they kept saying, keep your chin, keep it in tight. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. Let me go to Toussaint. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm good. I knew that punch was coming.
You
I
saw
knew it was
you
coming.
saw a mile down the road. You saw it coming.
Yeah, I was looking at the way he was. I didn't like it the way he was standing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was just like he was. I don't know, one of them 1945 boxers,
Yeah. Exposed.
and he was just waiting. That he
Mm-hmm.
was just waiting. And, I said, "It's gonna come. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Coming. It's coming." Pop!
And when it
Took
when
6 rounds, but it was coming. He
thank
didn't see it coming.
now.
Almost missed
Leonard, Leonard, that's your cousin right there, Leonard. That's your cousin. But my thing is this right here, man. I think he really set him up. He had to walk him down and slow walk him down, because when that moment came, he took advantage of it. And thank God for that rope, man. Because had that rope not been there, boy would have been in the
it.
third
Be
row.
in the bleachers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now
He would have been in the bleachers.
we're gonna go ahead early and we're gonna get into this topic for the day, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this topic. And y'all noticed because of the weekend, I wasn't able to post my flyer. Yesterday, I wasn't even here during that time when I usually post it. I was still at the event. But I want to ask a question this morning, and we're gonna get down into the nitty gritty. We're gonna destroy a couple of these pity parties that people have and stuff like that, because me and Leonard talked about people that have pity parties and stuff like that. We're gonna get to the nitty gritty. And I'm asking the question, Leonard. I'm gonna start with you. What does life owe you? What does life owe you?
Absolutely nothing.
Mm,
Absolutely nothing.
mm,
Life is a gift.
mm-hmm,
What you do with it is your business. You can throw it in the trash if you want to.
mm, mm,
You can ruin it if you would like,
mm-hmm,
or you can make the most out of it. Because there's nothing more. I don't care how bad it is. The sun always gets up.
mm-hmm,
That's what I depend on every day.
mm-hmm.
If the sun can do it, I'm supposed to be able to do it.
Yeah. And it's amazing how, when you said that, I thought of this, and I don't know why I thought of this. Y'all, please excuse me. But the broadcast this morning, everybody know I had a real busy weekend. I was up super late last night, and I was, I was asked the question, "Are you gonna do the show? You gonna do the show this morning?" And yes, because I had a busy weekend, because I'm tired or whatever. That has nothing to do with what we're supposed to be doing here. And see, and I say that for this reason right here. Things gonna happen in your life, but the things that you're supposed to do them. No matter how tired you get, or how bad you feel, or what how traumatic it might be, the things that you're supposed to do them. Go ahead, Leonard.
That's what I mean. That's man. If you'd just heard the one story of the speaker you had yesterday,
Yes.
you would understand the concept.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to do nothing if you would like to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. Some people gave up a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we see the results. Some people stop trying to do better, and we find out why they're at where they're still at.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing about it is, those people find the strength to go on every day. Nobody promised you it was going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could pick up the phone right now and give you the worst information you ever had in your life.
Yes, sir.
That's life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to deal with it any other way would be probably detrimental. And we see the impact it has on mental health
Mm-hmm.
and things of that nature when you don't take a leadership role in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
If you're waiting for somebody to come by and do it for you, you never know when it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
But when
Absolutely.
you decide to do it, man, nothing will be able to stop you. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, you may have been singing on Broadway one day and not be able to sing the next.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Mm-hmm.
Then what? What's next?
Mm-hmm.
What's next? You live every day. Every day is new. Why? What are you doing new today?
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Exactly.
help at least one? Are you going to help at least one person today?
Mm-hmm.
At least one.
Mm-hmm.
Help at least one today.
And see, and that's amazing because that was a theme of a lot of people that last night. They was help at least one person, help somebody,
Yes.
be there for somebody. Because that keynote speaker, man, you know, from the story about the lady getting killed in his dying in his arms and all kind of things, and how he carried it for a long time because he said once he went through the other parts of his life, he realized the only thing he had to do was add a little pressure, and he would have saved her life.
And
And
then
I was
and
like,
then throw 30 years of being a firefighter in there
yeah,
and
exactly.
working at ground zero
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and being the spokesperson for those responders.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how you get noticed by a casting agent on Broadway.
Mm-hmm. Next chapter in your life is totally different, man. This
It's totally different.
wow.
Totally different.
This
So
brother.
so it's better to be prepared,
Mm-hmm.
to be trying to do your best.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, it's evident when you're not.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because he was saying, man, from that he went from being a firefighter to actually being on Broadway, and then all major pictures, man. All kind of
All
pictures,
kinds of
movies and everything.
movies
Yes, sir.
and everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just being ready. Like Monique said, man, if you're ready, you ain't got to get ready. Tucson, let's talk. We got another caller. Caller, we're gonna come to you in just 1 second as well. But Tucson, what does life owe you? What does life owe you?
I had to think about it too, but it was simple. Gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just grateful
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
life, for life. I
Mm-hmm.
guess to life, for life, however you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm the one that adds to my life
Yeah.
or affects my life.
Mm-hmm.
Even people that might be, uh, I don't even worry about that. Yeah, if we were to say, well, there are some things or people that are against me, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I have avoided some people on purpose
Mm-hmm.
because they're in the way.
Come on.
So you go around them. You don't have to go through people because people just like me, just waiting for the next opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we doing. Waiting for the next every morning that I get up. I'm waiting for the next opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
At the end of the day, that opportunity has ended.
Mm-hmm.
So I get another day to be grateful for another chance to try it again.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as life is owing me something, please. That's what's and I guess some people feel like life they deserve something based on what? What's based on what? So what do we base life an opportunity or anything?
Mm-hmm.
What can you base it on?
Yeah.
Because you don't even know whether you're gonna be here the next minute.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. Ain't nobody or life owes me not a doggone thing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
That's the best I can say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, we got another caller. We're gonna go to Rico. A caller. We're coming to you next. But Rico asking the same question, brother. What does life owe you?
This one's gonna be short for me because I think we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, and I thought about it more after we got off the telephone, off the topic. For some reason, I'm better at writing or thinking after we have the conversation. But what it really boils down to, is a miracle or something supernatural can't owe me anything. That's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if anything, I got to show my appreciation for receiving this gift.
Come on.
If anybody pays attention to my Facebook, you go on there and you're gonna see it every morning. When I come on here, I tell people, welcome to a new day.
Yes, sir.
Because it's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't get a chance to experience this new day, won't get a chance to enjoy this holiday. So, I think those type of questions And that mindset is actually what is wrong with the world today when you see the problems of people just feeling like they are entitled to do what they want to do, and they deserve to have things just because.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I really, when I heard the question the very first time, I was just like, man, that don't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't really think I ever looked at it or could even perceive life as owing me anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like the people that brought me into this world has a responsibility or a priority to make sure that, I was guided or taken down the right path, provided the right tools to be able to make it properly, you know. But as far as just life or me anything, no, man, life is the greatest gift in the history of mankind. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing you could think of in existence that is more of a gift in this life, but some people don't appreciate it. And
Mm-hmm.
I sort of want to address that what you were saying about the pity party thing, because I agree. You don't have to go to the party, but at the same time, you really can't leave people alone like that, because if you know these people and you avoid the pity party, you might not be able to avoid the funeral. We're living in
Mm-hmm.
a time now where suicides are more prevalent than murder.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like right now, suicide has the highest rate of death. That is abnormal to me, especially in the black community. I
Mm-hmm.
think a few months ago we had a Miss America that killed herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes people don't understand that those words, the pity party, pull up
Mm-hmm.
your bootstraps and all that stuff right there. You worthless. You can't do nothing. You ain't got nothing playing. You don't understand that sometimes people are brought up so dysfunctional that when they get in this real world, they understand, man, I really don't know what direction I'm going in. So they faking it.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing it by ear, and they're learning on the fly at 29, 30, 40 years old, realizing that they really didn't have a clear understanding of this world, or they're starting to see that this world ain't what they were brought up thinking it was, but they have to keep on playing the game. And I'm seeing now that a lot of people are tired of playing this game, and if we don't get off our high horses and stop telling people, or I ain't gonna even say condemning people, but not motivating them the proper way, we're gonna continue having these suicides. I agree. You don't have to go to the pity party,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, be careful of what you're calling a pity party, because you might have to go to that funeral,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think you want to avoid that.
Exactly. And I always like to deal with several sides of the coin and well receive what you just said, and I definitely appreciate that. But I know that I've been in. I'm gonna give this example. I've gone to church in a fantastic mood, man. Gone to church in a fantastic mood, and somebody is coming to the church, sit next to me. I'm sitting there with my family. Somebody come and sit next to me, and somehow it's like they suck the good energy out, man. And so you have to be real mindful. And I'm not saying to disregard the people or act as though they don't exist, or do what you can do to help. But at the same time,
Right,
you still have to control your own psyche too. You have to control your own energy too. And if you don't do that, you will end up being the keynote speaker at their pity party.
right. Well, you
Hmm.
have to limit yourself.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to you have to at least do your part to motivate them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then when you see that they don't want to be motivated, then you really don't have a choice. But some people really, they just don't know and have anybody to talk to, because, like I said, some people actually just make it look good.
Hmm.
I mean, that
Exactly.
Miss America, she made it look good, and didn't nobody know it was bad till she jumped out that window.
Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. That's the number. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Asking the question this morning: what does life owe you? Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Morning.
Doing good?
Yes,
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Cassandra, what does life owe you?
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. And I owe life everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just the idea of being here. I'm so grateful that I have an opportunity every day to hopefully make a difference in someone else's life.
Absolutely.
So but it owes me absolutely nothing. Can I go back to the boxing?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
While I was in New York last week, the hotel I was at, some of the boxers were there,
Mm.
and one of the featherweight kids, I can't remember his name right now, But when I saw his face, I said, I know this kid from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I could not put my finger on it. And then he came and sat next to me, and I noticed that he had boxing gloves on his thing. And I said, what kind of boxing do you do? And he barely spoke English. I think he's from Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
or still, but he's a featherweight. He was able to tell me he's a featherweight boxer, but he was one of the preliminary fights before the fight.
Mm.
Um, yes. So, I said, well, I'm going to be praying with you. I said, I feel like it's going to be good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, gracias, da, da, da.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to mention that. But great, great. His spirit was so awesome.
Good. Good.
Great kid. He was
Mm-hmm.
featherweight. But yeah, life owes me nothing. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I want to say this. Because I may not be able to stay on the line. I'm grateful for the Redeem Award
Yes. Thank you.
from
Yes. Thank you.
yesterday. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes,
wasn't
ma'am.
able to be there. I contracted COVID while I was in New York, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm bedridden right now. I think I'll end up having to go to the hospital today because I'm not doing well with it.
Mm.
But thank you so much.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
appreciate you, and congratulations to all of the recipients.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And Cassandra, you take care of yourself and know that if you need me, sister, I'm right here. I told you now. Me and Cassandra talked earlier, and I had to make her laugh. I said, look, Cassandra, if you need something, just let me know. Now I'm not gonna come in. I'm gonna drop it off at your door and call you, let you know I dropped it off. But I ain't coming in. I ain't coming in. But yeah, that's a little joke that she and I had. But I pray that everything is well with you, Cassandra. I pray that God's gonna bring you through this thing, man, and we'll be laughing like we always do. Next week, sometime, 2 weeks, or whatever the case, and we'll continue to enjoy each other and continue to have a great time. Love you, sis, and whatever we can do to help you, I'm sure I speak to everybody. We right here for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Toussaint, what's on your heart? Toussaint,
You know,
yeah,
yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening. And Cassandra, for sure, definitely praying that everything goes well with you.
yes, yes.
That's kind of like what life things happen
Mm-hmm.
in life, and that's why I don't omit nor discredit or overlook nobody because things happen,
Yeah.
and life ain't nothing but a chance. I thank God for every opportunity, every second. I don't care if I have a bad day. I thank God for that,
Mm-hmm.
for that bad day,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's a learning experience.
Yes, sir.
I don't know about nobody else, but I don't look at a bad day as necessarily a bad thing
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because something is there in that to teach me something,
Yeah, absolutely.
even if it's how to go through it or to
Mm-hmm.
work it out. Because most of my issues in life that I've had throughout my life wasn't for me, it was for the person that will go through the same thing behind me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Come
how
on.
I've learned to look at it
Yeah, yeah.
because um, we have there are most of us, some of us, have teaching moments
Yeah. That's right.
for
That's
the
right.
teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Teaching moments for the teacher
Yeah.
because most of us, instruct people or encourage people. We spend most of our lives encouraging people or looking out for people or supporting people that even don't support themselves. So we go through.
Mm-hmm.
But the trials, it's just like it says, come to make us strong.
Mm-hmm.
We don't we don't give in, we don't give up.
Yeah.
Sometimes some kind of way we get up the next morning and say we live to fight another day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to stop and just halt for a minute and say to Cassandra, we definitely praying with you and for you because uh, I didn't get a chance to go either.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching y'all having fun in New York, you and my niece. Yeah, So I have to watch y'all and y'all together because that can be too much fun
Exactly. 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 Captain Leonard, talk to me, brother.
It's it's amazing. Like I say, I've always focused on positive things
Mm-hmm.
because negativity is horrible to me, even when I was a kid. And it is amazing when you, as a kid, you're taught it this way. Why are you frowning
Mm-hmm.
when the day is beautiful and everything else? You have breath in your body. Why are you frowning?
Mm-hmm.
Don't let that last. If I'm not in a good mood, I got to find out where the good mood at, where that party at.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like Donald was saying, you have to have a different perspective on life. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what nobody tell you. You can go back and forth about it if you want to. Some of us gonna go forward, and that's where the survivors are. They're in the forward party.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Cassandra, I always get uh, strength from the things that she says and does because she never stops,
Mm-hmm.
and she's always she's dedicated her life to helping other people. That's what she does,
Mm-hmm.
and then she still pursues her dream as acting. So guess what? They can exist together.
Yeah.
It's your perspective that makes life good or bad. It's your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you were shot and left for dead.
Yeah.
Are you here to tell that story today? You should tell that story better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that's why I know more. Like when I hear people talking about black people ain't this, black people. I don't know. I don't even know what them black people you talking about. Because everybody that I'm around are doing better or
Mm-hmm.
trying. That
That's
don't mean
right.
they ain't sick. Don't mean they ain't crippled. Don't mean they weren't hurt when they was a kid. None of that. They're
Mm-hmm.
simply reaching for something better. They still have hope. I can't. Ain't no good men out there. Oh, it's lots of good men out here.
Mm-hmm. Where you
Lots
looking?
of good men. Yeah, I talk to
Where you
lots of them.
looking?
I
Mm-hmm.
hang out with lots of them.
Yeah.
They
The
great
question
guys.
the question becomes where you looking?
Where you looking? And
Mm-hmm.
are you as good as you think you are? People have
Oh,
to look at that
oh,
first.
oh, oh, oh.
Some people make up stuff to make it miserable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that ain't no good men out there. It's that you're not as good as you believe you are.
Mm.
Because
Wow.
trust me, good men are usually looking for good women.
Mm-hmm.
But it's your perspective that changes the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to hate this world and hate everybody around you and think that it was white people fault you ain't doing nothing and you ain't met your goals and all these. You can do that. But when you gonna get tired of that?
Mm-hmm.
When you gonna get tired of complaining about being broke instead of learning new skills to get another vocation in life?
Mm-hmm. Five
That's what
zero
people do.
exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Asking the question, what does life owe you? What does life owe you? We're gonna go to Badger. And because my thing is, I don't want to have a pity party and we say pity party, or we don't want to concentrate on the negative, but we want to concentrate on the positive today. And we asking the question, what does life owe you? Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
What does life owe you, Badger?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I work so hard at being grateful for every moment that's given
Mm-hmm.
that I ain't got time to think it owes me anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I've in a lot of ways I shouldn't be here. So to have the blessing of being married and having kids and being able to come on the morning glow Monday through Friday every morning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, making friends and things like that. I'd rather spend my energy being thankful and showing gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because life can suck if I let it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of the approaches I have. I grew tired of letting what other people say, do, and all that affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm more focused on how can I be the best me?
Mm-hmm.
How can I fight to promote a better future for all people? So my kids, when they get adults, they don't have to fight as hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal.
That's good.
I don't
That's
want to
good.
see my kids and grandkids having to fight as hard as we have to every day.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Really, a lot of times, man, when I encounter people that's in a situation like that, I agree with what Leonard was saying about perspective and Dawn said about perspective. And what Buck Badger just said, man, awesome what he just said.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sort of takes me back to a post I made earlier. And it's sort of, concerning what I said about suicide a second ago and how people are depressed. You see, some people don't know how to get to that point, and they don't appreciate life for some reason. So I try to find a way to show them how to appreciate life because what you just said, you asked the question, what does life owe us? And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people believe that life owes them something. So I try to turn it around. I encounter people sometimes, man. First off, I appreciate life so much because, like Badger, I'm not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty. Just this past Thursday,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
y'all could be reading
Yeah.
about me,
Yeah.
laughing or having a good
Mm-hmm.
time or crying, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not every day isn't guaranteed. And I realized this at a very young age, almost drowning, so many different close calls I've had that I was like, man, I barely missed death. And so I woke up the next day and I appreciated the fact that, you know what, man, if that would have happened, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy this. So I
Mm-hmm.
reflect that on to people that I know are going through certain things. I have to be very careful of how I bring them from the depression or whatever they're going through. So I try my best to remind them of all the things that make them laugh hilariously,
Mm-hmm.
the things that make them most happy, the best times in their life. And I remind them that, well, look, man, if those times you were feeling that great, weren't you glad to be alive?
Mm-hmm.
Weren't you glad you were alive to be there to witness that or take part in that? And a lot of times they'll say, yeah, I can't make them laugh on my own. So I have to remind them of their greatest times,
Mm-hmm.
even when they are down, because some people really don't know how to put their mind in the right place to get out of that funk. To how to understand really and truly, man, look, you should appreciate life a lot more because, yeah, it might look down right now, but tomorrow may be the best day of your life. You got to
Mm-hmm.
give it a chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it an opportunity. Appreciate it that much because if you do take yourself away from here, you'll never have a chance to experience those things that made you so happy to even be alive
Mm-hmm.
when you weren't feeling like this. So I always try to make sure I remind them. I try to make sure that I'm very careful with my words
Mm-hmm.
because if you're not careful, they won't know how to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave this with y'all. There are ways that you can counter depression. And I tell people to take whatever, any and all positive, whatever daylight they can find, and keep on moving towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you move towards that daylight, I guarantee you will start experiencing things that'll have a smile on the other side, and you will appreciate life a lot more
That's
than
good.
what you think how life should appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And Cassandra, a lot of times what I do is I like to find, like Rico said just now, that bright spot. And a lot of times it's the children, it's kids. Don't you want to see them when they have their first opportunity to do this? Don't you want to be able to laugh with them? Don't you want to be able to rejoice in those moments? How you gonna see that if you're gone? So Cassandra, you have to pinpoint something that makes a lot of sense to them. Maybe it's a job or whatever it is that a happy place in their life, and you have to get them to concentrate on that happy place because if not, the bad or the sad or whatever will overtake them. Now, as a counselor, Cassandra, am I off base?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. What I try to do is just what you said. I try to give them hope because
Yeah.
if a person has hope, they can make it through. And you can say, they say take one day at a time. I don't tell people to take one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tell them to take 1 hour, 1 minute. Sometimes people are so depressed that they have to do it second by second.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
alcoholics, drug addicts, whatever your issue is, 1 second at a time, because you can't see beyond that second. So you gotta like just let them baby step right through whatever it is that they're going through. So my main thing that I tell people, don't let life live you. You live life.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes life is riding you. Don't life cannot ride me. I have to ride life. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's always my biggest thing to tell people. Take it at your pace. Don't let anybody tell you you need to snap out of it, get over it. None of that. I don't play like that. Don't do that. You can cause somebody to die by
Mm-hmm.
saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, let them get through the best way they can, taking step by step.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Just like Miss Cassandra said, I agree 100%. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lot more demanding when it comes to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a boot camp type of person. If you want to do it, volunteer
Mm-hmm.
and be about it. Even with the organization that we have people that will help you from wherever stage you are at,
Yeah.
but you have to make the investment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dragging nobody nowhere. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Because we going somewhere. And we need everybody on deck. We need people with skills. We need people with all different types of abilities and talents. And if you're sitting there covering them up, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
What's the point? I am not the person to call if you're at the point where you think you ought to kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
However, you got there, do you really want to live? You know, they ask that question when you go to the doctor all the time, especially when you go to therapy. And I've been going to therapy for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very convinced that therapy does work. But you know what? If you want to change,
You say does work, right?
oh yes.
Okay.
If you
Okay.
want to change, there are some people don't need no 12 steps. They're tired
Mm-hmm.
of smoking and drinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they just put it down
Yep.
because they tired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I got no guys that have been in the I mean, literally laying on the street in the gutter, change their
Mm.
mind and change their life.
Yeah.
And that was what things are like. The quicker you be about it, the quicker you get to it, the quicker you
Mm-hmm.
make the investment, the quicker the return.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you've done. You know what you need to correct. It's like when you go to prison and come out of prison. Man, I hang out with these guys that go through that, and next thing you know, they out here in the street helping everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they ain't sitting around talking about you owe me this, you man. They just come out giving. They come out giving anything they can do to keep a younger person from going through that.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys that come out start organizations and everything, helping people simply like my man Peace Justice, for instance. You can go look
Mm-hmm.
him up on Facebook. His story,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever those things that happen, it's about next. Do you
Mm-hmm.
want that next moment to be full of misery? It's
Mm.
almost like simple to me, even now, with all the practice. If I'm not feeling bad. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do something that makes me feel good. I'm gonna see if that works. You know how my bishop used to say, praise God anyhow.
Yeah.
And it seems crazy to you,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I know you got a problem, but praise God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not about anything. You can praise about something else. You can just praise God for that sun getting up and raining. You can praise God for anything. Do that for 5 or 10 minutes. Start with that. Try
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
See if it worked for you. Everybody don't, I preached before. Everybody don't want to be healed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the question was asked of the man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be healed? Because you got to want to.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Phone lines are open. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, kind of what he's talking about. You know, I spent many years attempting that stuff. Um, but it's learning that life is a gift. And no matter how bad we think it can always be worse.
Mm-hmm.
In the essence of it's learning perspective. So like yesterday, we were gonna go pick up a family friend so the kids can have a play date. So the kids can just hang out, play in the pool, that kind of stuff. I needed to stop for gas, and I ended up having a random conversation with somebody, talking about life, talking about the current state of society and things like that. And just a random encounter. But apparently that person needed a soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's life is one of those things that you get out of it what you put in it. And that's the beauty of life. So if you think negative things, you're pretty much, in essence, putting it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of teachings that aren't as common anymore as it was 20 years ago. Um, so it's almost seems like the mental health issues have grown in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So needing trying to figure out how to word it.
Mm-hmm.
The realization that in the last 20 years, our society has become more self-centered and selfish
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. When it comes to thinking, when it comes to a lot of stuff. And the reason I say that is there are less communities than there used to be. There was, depending on where you lived, of course, but there was a lot more focus on the health of people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you talk to a neighbor, it's even if you're saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" Unless you're just so happen to be in one of the rare communities, it's mind your own business or
Wow.
something like that. And all you're doing is just trying to have a friendly conversation. You're
Mm-hmm.
not actually trying to be noticed. You're just being friendly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think so many people have been hurt by other people that it's led to a lot more struggle.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there was something I was wanting to hit on, but I don't know what the topic actually is for today.
Mhm. The topic is, and we got to go to the next person, Badger. But the topic is, what does life owe you? What does life owe you? Is the topic. But let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? and I say this all the time. I used to complain. This is a little scenario I give people. I used to complain about not having no new shoes until I saw a man that have no feet. Now we can look at our situation and say it's the worst situation in the world, but then if you take time, because I know, Rico, you get out every morning and you walk. I'm gonna ask you this question: how important is it that you have experience in the walk, listening to the birds chirp, listening to see the animals walking and stuff like that, seeing the different activities that goes on? How important is that, and how much does that mean to you?
Man, it's life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm witnessing it
Yeah.
live and in person,
Yeah.
alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's funny that you went there, man, because I was actually thinking about that. See, the question, what does life owe me?
Yeah.
Man, that's gonna be a short topic.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a short show if we leave it right there. But if you ask me, what do I owe life? Man, you could run this thing 2 or 3 days straight for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And we still will never be able to find enough time to say what we owe life.
Mm-hmm.
But I do owe it all the appreciation and respect that I can give or muster up out this little vessel that they call a body.
Mm-hmm.
Because without it, I wouldn't even know what this is. I wouldn't be able to see a sky, a cloud, hear a bird chirp, see a frog hop.
Mm.
So many different things I would not be able to experience. You know, the life of a dog, the life of a cat. I appreciate and respect all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such an empath. Sometimes I imagine what it's like to be a fish.
Mm.
And I question myself, could I be eating these things? They're alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had conversations with people about human beings being meat eaters. I actually have always felt guilty about eating animals.
Mm-hmm.
I feel guilty about eating chickens. I feel guilty about killing flies and mosquitoes. I do it sometimes. I'm like, dang, I didn't have to do that. That thing was alive. That's how much I feel like I appreciate and how much I owe life is to make sure that I protect it. From the smallest insect all the way to the person that's living next door to me that might be super made. And I know it and I see it. You know, I like what Badger said about this world being self-centered the way it is. You know, that's the whole reason behind having motivational speakers. So you get anybody to speak, but a motivational speaker, they can actually open up your eyes and deliver the message that you need to hear that will give you the direction that you need to go in. And sometimes you have to be brutally honest. I ain't gonna lie, when a person don't want to listen and they're in denial and they want to continue doing what they're doing, you got to be brutally honest. And sometimes you have to wear kid gloves because these people really just never had the proper tools to understand or perceive what you were talking about. You know, I realize now in this time that I live in that, man, there are a lot of 30 and 40-year-old people that really need to start over on the process of learning how to learn the meaning of life, just how to really cope and adapt and build, because the way they coped and adapted was dysfunctional, and they think that was the right way to handle things, and they don't find out till after they don't went to prison 4 or 5 times. You mean to tell me that I've been thinking wrong the whole time? That thought process that I had was something that somebody told me that was all screwed up? You mean to tell me all this stuff that these Crips and Bloods put into me when I was young is wrong? That I ain't supposed to give up? That I can be a square? That I can be what you call a quote-unquote nerd and still do better?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I appreciate life, man. Like I said, it's more about what I owe life. You know, I mean, if we could change it and go to what do we owe life, then, you know, it might be a little easier for me to talk. But just to say, you know, as what life owes me, man, it don't owe me nothing, not one thing, man. I'm just glad that I'm able to wake up every morning, walk on my 2 feet like some people can't, and listen to these birds like some people can't.
Yeah, yeah.
And not have to worry about not having or being able to do some certain things, some basic things.
Yeah.
Even the most basic things, I appreciate them more than anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cassandra, responsibility. Let's talk responsibility, and there's a couple of different areas we're gonna touch on this thing. But what are some of the responsibilities that we are owed with this thing called life?
No, well, I mean, our responsibility to life is to be accountable for our
Mm-hmm.
life. No
Mm-hmm.
one, you're accountable for how your life goes, how your day goes, how
Mm-hmm.
you interact with people, how you treat people. So our responsibility as and let's just if we just take it from the Christian perspective, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's our job on a daily basis to be a blessing, to love on people. And that's, you know, that's what I try to do every day to help somebody, one person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if I can't get out to be around people, um, I get phone calls where I have to try to encourage people that are feel like there's no hope.
Mm-hmm.
So our responsibility is to be the best person that we can be. And that is in being loving and caring for people regardless of who they
Mm-hmm.
are. I don't care, white, black, orange, green. I deal with people from all backgrounds, poor, rich. I don't care. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rich hurt just as bad as the poor. Believe
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
they just got money. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when they call me, they're in just as much pain as the person that's homeless.
Mm-hmm.
So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's all about me being responsible enough to try to do something or say something to encourage that
Mm-hmm.
person. That's what I feel it's about accountability.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. Tucson, talk to me, man. What are the responsibilities that we owe to this thing called life? What are the responsibilities, Tucson?
Hmm. I guess you have to be responsible. I think that because I understand something. The only time that I know that I got is now. What
Mm-hmm.
am I going to do? So now just passed. I missed it. See how quick that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we're responsible for making every moment count for something.
Mm-hmm.
Do the best you can. Suppose you fall. Suppose you fail. Get up. That's easy for some to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then, if you run into somebody, or if there's somebody that need a little encouragement along the way, you're responsible for that. Now look, don't get caught up in trying to help somebody that don't want to help themselves. And then
Mm-hmm.
there are some people that can't help it. Unfortunately, there are some people that are destructive to their own self, their
Mm-hmm.
own self. Be careful about helping them out. You can get caught up if you're not you, watchful. You got to know when to let you pull your hand back
Mm-hmm.
because takers are just that. They
Mm-hmm.
have nothing to give. And there are some people that are so much of a giver, they get caught up into always giving until they can't give no more.
Mm-hmm.
Then they without.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're responsible for helping other folks. You're responsible for loving mankind
Mm-hmm.
to the point that you're not Jesus.
Come
You
on.
can't save everybody.
Come on. Come on.
You can't help everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to talk about Harry Hippie.
I can't help you,
You
Harry,
know,
when you want to sleep on the ground. You're like a bucket of water. Harry just flows around. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, sir. It's old Harry Hippie.
you was hosting the award show.
Yeah, I was gonna break out in the song, but I got to break out in the song. I looked out there and I saw Leonard. He said, don't you do it." He said, don't, Raheem, don't you do it." He stood up. He said, Leonard stood up in the middle of the war. So look at him. Say, if he sang one more note, I'm walking out this door. And I encourage each and every one of y'all to walk out with me. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
He's so crazy, man. But that's what it's about, man. That's why I connect with cats like you and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Because, man, there are so many people around that just want to consume you
Mm-hmm.
and destroy your day and your projects. And you could be doing something completely righteous, all they want to do is stop you from doing that. So I'd rather choose people that are positive to associate with every day. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they may come around like our families and things like that. And one thing they realize, we let them know up front, you can't come here with your feelings on your sleeve, because I guarantee you, you're gonna get hurt by everybody in this room. Because everybody has a right to be themselves. And trust me, a good community correct those who get out of line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, we can't be in the circle and you cutting up, because pretty soon you're no longer in that circle.
See you.
See you. There's certain people, you know me, Raheem, I ain't gonna spend 5 minutes with, because I'm not interested in anything they have to say. And we have to be better judges of who we give our energy to, because you will be consumed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire consumes. And if you ain't hotter, you gonna be the one consumed. So sitting around waiting on somebody to pick you up, waiting on somebody to do, no. Every day you decide. Well, if it's just one simple thing you can do. Maybe it's just speaking to someone, or if you see someone saying good morning or good afternoon, stuff we call basic manners. Those basic manners were for.
I I had a couple of friends. I heard this story. I heard this story a couple of times, man. They said this to me. They said that when they first went to New York, they encountered, and sad enough, they said most of them say it was women that said it to them, but they come from down south and they have a different mindset down south than up north, and they see somebody, they say good morning, and they look at them, what's good about it? I'm like, I said, they say that to you? Yeah, that's me. What's so good about it? Like, whoa, that's just a buzzkill right there, man.
But there are just some people that are like that.
Yeah, yeah. What's good about it?
Right. We have to focus. I have to focus on the positive. I don't know about nobody else. I very rarely, grieving is even with me. Grief is even set at a schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
And we don't ever give it priority. Like today, if you're gonna remember something, remember the good time. Remember how great it was. Because the only person you still here. That other person is gone. They're not going to do anything else. What are you going to do next? It's okay to visit a grave site, but realize there's a difference between the living and the dead, and there's definitely a different responsibility.
Exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother. Have you ever experienced like, good morning, you're in a good mood, good morning, how you doing? What's so good about it? And that attitude and that mindset, man, just it's almost like you're on fire. They throw water on your fire.
And I have been in that situation before. I mean, man, uplifted, happy, just feeling like the day was gonna be my day for some reason. I didn't know what it was, and I'm just going out the way speaking to people because I feel good. Remember what I just said, because I feel good.
Yes.
But that person I said good morning to might have just found out that their mama died 2 or 3 minutes before that. So this is what I like about life too, and this is why I appreciate life, because number one, I can sacrifice my feelings and how I feel and my emotions, and I can also have compassion and understanding. I can have some reason to think to myself, well, why would they say something like that? Well, they just doing it because they're just mean and nasty. Did they just have a car accident and get totaled out their car, and they ticked right now because somebody hit them and didn't have insurance, and they late for work, and somebody injured. I mean, you never know what somebody's predicament is. So, I don't like negativity either, but we don't live in a positive world. If everything was positive, then everything would be perfect. And we wouldn't have a suicide rate that was higher than the murder rate. So sometimes just because you're in a good mood and somebody pee on your Cheerio because they didn't respond the way you wanted them to respond, you got to understand, you as a human being, appreciating life, that they may have just came from a situation that ain't too good.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't feel like smiling and talking right now. And they don't know you. You ain't sincere no way. You don't know them. That's what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You ask me if them having a good morning. So what have you asked them? Oh, dang, brother, I just spoke to you. No, I've seen that before. I've seen people speak to somebody, the next person then speak back, and the person that spoke tried to get nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I said good morning.
Yeah, yeah.
But then guess what the person that didn't speak back said? I think you're playing with the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, it went out of control because the person that spoke felt disrespected. He didn't understand just because I spoke because I felt good don't mean that this man in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm appreciative enough of life to try to be understanding, walk away from some things. If I see, where I spoke, they didn't speak back, I'm gonna keep it moving. But I am willing to sacrifice and appreciate life enough to be my brother's keeper, to do what I can to help other people because I appreciate the fact that they have life.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I want to do is to see somebody leave in my presence or somebody that I knew or just encountered walk down the street a couple of minutes later and do something crazy when I ignored them or couldn't talk to them when they tried to. Because we hear these conversations all the time. Why didn't they just call me? Why didn't they talk to me and tell me what was going on? But like Badger said, we live in a very self-centered world to where when people don't think you respond the way they think you're supposed to respond to them, then there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Cassandra, good morning. What's so good about it? Why are you so happy anyway? You're always happy, walking around, you're always happy and smiling. What's wrong with you? Cassandra, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, no, I can just tell them, why I'm happy. I'm just grateful for another day. I mean, and I've had people who do that, and especially when you counsel people, if they're going through, they want you to be in the same place where they are.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't. You have to stay on the high road no matter what that person is saying. You have to try to stay positive. Hey, I understand what's going on, let's talk about it, and then I can go from there. But of course, when you're dealing with people that are depressed, they're not seeing the good.
Mm-hmm.
They're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That's why it's important for you to keep your frame of mind, regardless of where they are, so that possibly you can show them some ray of light coming through.
Good
And
deal.
that's all people need most times to keep moving. They
Mm-hmm.
need to see some kind of light, some type of hope. They have to have hope.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have. Without that, they're not going to make it. That's the bottom line.
Wow. Point blank. Period. They're not going to make it, and
They're not. They're
yeah.
not, because you think about it. Hope. If you don't even have any sign of hope that things can get better, there is nothing left
Mm-hmm.
without hope.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Wow. Wow. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
I was at church and we was having a pretty good time. And the drummer stepped out and he sat on one of the he was just sitting on the step. Somebody said to such and to see about the guy. Anyway, so I go out there, step out, service, and I sat there on the side of him. And I said, I really don't have anything to say. I'm just sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, thank you. Because his grandmother was passing.
Mm.
And he was trying to capture that moment.
Yeah.
He said a lot of people always figure they got something positive to say, but you can't say nothing positive in this situation. So it's better not to say anything. Some people don't need a word of wisdom like we think we got all the time. I'm learning to say that silence is a wisdom that some never obtain. Just shut up. Don't say nothing. Don't try to be smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like you understand, like you know how they feel. I know how you feel. No, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
that.
No, you
Say
don't.
that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's quick to say. And then the worst thing to do is have a person that they loved one pass and you walk up to how you doing. And my friend, he corrected. Well, I just said, child, you call his name, and he said, man, the hardest thing now, his mama had just passed in her sleep.
Mm-hmm.
He said, the hardest thing for me right now is somebody walking up to me and asking me how I'm doing. My
Mm-hmm.
mama just passed.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to always figure that you understand because you really don't.
Mm-hmm.
You meet a person, we don't like to, but it's good to meet a person where they are, even when you don't know. And when you don't know where they are, shut your mouth.
Yeah. 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 That's good. That's good. I'm gonna tell you something. A few years ago, and I hope my brother don't mind me sharing this story, man. I hope he don't, and if he does, he'll call and get on me. But he lost his wife a few years ago, and I was there with him. We was actually sitting standing by. He and I was in the room with her because they had hospice at the house, and he and I was in the room when she passed, took her last breath, and I was there with my brother during that time, and later on after the funeral, I came up to him and I said, man, listen, I can't say that I know how you feel. I can't say that because my wife, man, she's over there in the other room. You just lost yours. So I say, I can't tell you that I know how you feel and I know what you're going through because truth of the matter, I don't. But what I can tell you is I'm your brother, man. If you need me, I'm right here. And he looked at me, saying pretty much the same situation. So he said, thank you, man. He said, and me and my brother, we talked. He said, you'll be amazed some of the things people say because they don't know what to say. He said, you'll be amazed what people will say because they don't know what to say. And that's the thing right there, Leonard. A lot of times, man, if you don't know what to say, if you don't have anything to say, don't say nothing.
It's an art. I'm so glad, man. Toussaint be there, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Toussaint be there.
Mm-hmm.
I am not Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I am just not. And a lot of times people say something like one of the biggest turnoffs in the my mother died on a beautiful day in July. I held her right there in my arms after bringing her flowers. Good morning, I'm ready to go. And she
Mm-hmm.
was gone.
Mm.
Just like that.
Mm.
You know what I did? It hurt. That moment hurt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then that's what every human feels.
Mm.
But today is still a beautiful day.
Yeah.
I think Minister Jamie was talk. I was on the phone with Minister Jamie
Mm-hmm.
actually that day, right standing there in the hospital.
Mm.
And then he said, "Man, I am so sorry to hear that. Man, my mother was a servant to the people around her and her God. Do you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
She was ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Nobody in there. I mean, the guy, the one of the doctors that came in before she passed said, can I be your God, but be one of your godchildren?" And he's
Mm.
70 some years old
Mm.
because the spirit in the room. And one, I could have chosen to just feel miserable, but I had a choice on
Mm-hmm.
how to feel. And it's been so much better choosing to be positive, even about that. It has never been a good thing
Mm-hmm.
for me to be miserable.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I don't tolerate, even when I do the work that I do, the moment you tell me
Mm-hmm.
you don't know, you haven't walked in my shoes, and our conversation is over.
Yeah.
Because that right there alone lets me know that you're not in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
To constantly lash out at everything around you That ain't everybody else. That's you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
To
Wow.
always find the miserable, that's because you looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
You looking for it. Some people can't exist, it seems like, unless, like my mother used to say, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
Like Donald say, you, close your mouth.
Hush up. Hush up.
Close your mouth. You ain't always got to be saying something. You get tired of hearing people say the same old thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Or those things that we get used to saying. But start qualifying those things so that everything that you say has meaning. The more you focus on things having meaning when you say them, the more powerful they become.
Mm-hmm.
Think first. Don't be so quick to say what everybody else say or what you
Mm-hmm.
heard somebody else say. Because your heart may be telling you to be quiet,
Yep. Yep.
but you ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you know it, now you in a fight with something that's supposed to start off with good morning.
Mm-hmm.
With something that started off as good morning. Sometimes you just wave your hand, keep
Mm-hmm.
walking. Like when I'm walking and stuff, I throw my hand up,
I don't. I speak.
you know. And if they throw their hand up, then I know that one, hey, how you know? Some people don't even want to speak on the morning walk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I'm walking, if I'm in a certain type of meditation, I may not even notice you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So man, I love what Tucson just said. Sometimes just be quiet.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Cassandra, a lot of times when things happen, situations happen in life as they always do, and certainly they will continue to happen, good and bad, or whatever the case. A person say somebody lose someone, and they say, well, they're in a better place, and God brought them home and stuff like that, and a lot of the verbiage that people say, well, it was time for it was just time for them to go, time for God. Cassandra, people when they're mourning, they don't want to hear stuff like that. It was just their time to go, and we gotta keep moving on. Cassandra, people just don't want to hear that during that time. Why do you think people are so insensitive and continuously say that?
It's not a lot of times it's not people being insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's people just not knowing what to say. And in those instances, I just sit sometimes. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even say anything. I can go, with a family that either the person is dying or they've just died. When I'm with them, I just sit and don't say anything. Just your presence sometimes speaks volumes to people without you opening your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with Toussaint Leonard. I totally agree with them. Sometimes silence is golden.
Mm-hmm.
Just be there. Just be present with them, and that's enough to help them get through what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. I have to be very careful because I deal a lot with people that are in grieving process, or their family member may be in hospice. So, I just have to watch my words. I let the
Yeah.
spirit lead me into what to say or what not to say.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Sometimes it's just about being present.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Let's go to Badger. Then Rico coming to you next. Badger, what's on your heart?
It, in a nutshell, in my perspective, we have a responsibility
Mm-hmm.
to life. And that responsibility to life is making sure the planet or that we're borrowing from our kids is taken care of when they inherit it.
Mm-hmm.
And teaching them that their time here is all about making sure that the generations that come after won't have as big of a struggle. And one of the things I realized is there are those of us that fight in hopes that everything will equalize and all people will be taken care of, get more access, get more help, more equality. Yet, just as much as we're fighting, there's more people fighting to keep their selfish ways.
Mm-hmm.
I fully believe that our society is unbalanced. There's
Mm-hmm.
much more negative than there are positive. Just, and I say that because I was looking at numbers of suicide rates, depression, um, homelessness, and things of that nature. And those numbers have gone up. Um, and then a lot of that centers around communities really aren't communities anymore
Mm-hmm.
for in the large number of things. Um, most people are taught to mind your own business. They're taught to shut up and obey. Um, I've had a lot of conversations lately as a good example, whenever I get an opportunity to speak to multiple people and be an advocate, I try to share information about bills that are being passed and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the example is, here's Biden working on an executive order to stop the gas companies from price gouging. And they're talking about making it a law,
Mm-hmm.
but they're being stopped by everything you could possibly think of. So we owe it to the generation that is going to be inheriting the earth behind us to promote a better future.
Good deal. Good deal. Yep. Absolutely.
But we're separated,
Mm-hmm.
and we're separated by teachings of hate. We're separated by illusions. We're separated by teachings of selfish and selfishness. The, the likelihood of finding people in every single community, and I'm talking about every single one, where we're all outnumbered,
Mm-hmm. 30 seconds, Benjamin.
at least 5 to 1 minimum,
Mm-hmm.
of trying to go, hey, everything that you do affects us all.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico,
Yo,
what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Responsibility, man, of saying the right things and or just knowing when not to say anything at all. How does one get there?
well, once again, you have to go back and really understand, appreciate, and respect life.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that the world doesn't revolve around you. So, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I know that I owe life enough appreciation and respect to understand that every living thing has a different experience than mine. So, you know what, man? I marvel at the sight of a caterpillar turning into a cocoon and then coming out a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
I marvel at looking at dolphins swim through the ocean and do what they do and then actually communicate with people and show emotions. I marvel at elephants and their family structure and how they maneuver when the elder elephant dies or whatever. I marvel
Mm-hmm.
at birds being able to fly. I
Mm-hmm.
wish I could fly. I don't believe I could fly. I know better. But I marvel that they're not respect and appreciate that life form being able to do those things that I can't even do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Mm-hmm.
much I appreciate and respect all life. I respect the earth so much to know that it produces things. It even produced us.
Mm-hmm.
George Washington Carver said he can even appreciate life to the point where he could talk to plants. That's a heck of an appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
But see, this is what tradition does. Tradition says, hey, just to be courteous, say good morning.
Yeah.
But I always felt uncomfortable just saying good morning just because somebody told me that's the thing to do. You see, this is what my word is bond. I wear my word on my heart on my sleeve, my word on my grave. If I don't mean it, I don't feel comfortable saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't know you and don't know where you just came from, look, you might have just finished molesting your child. What I look like saying good morning to you? Hey, good morning. But you just finished doing some of the nastiest, most deviant things I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the type of person, man, I'm going to be honest. I barely speak. I make eye contact with people and see if they look receptive. And sometimes if they look receptive, I might say, all right, man, how you doing? Hello. And then depending on who they are, I might say, welcome to a new world, a new day.
Mm-hmm.
But I barely say good morning because don't repeat what I said. That person may have just lost their mother. This won't be too good of a morning for them.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the worst morning of their life.
30 seconds, Rico.
And so, you know what, I'm very careful about just saying words just to be saying them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I say all the time, words are just sound that come out of your mouth.
Absolutely.
Say things that you really mean. Let it come from the heart. I'm very big about being sincere and genuine. And sometimes when people need to hear sincere and genuine words, they know when it's just being courtesy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal.
So I love and appreciate life enough to respect and understand that through their experience, what I feel at that point in time might not be what they're feeling. So I might need to second guess how I approach them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. We gotta go. Got another caller on the line. Let me see who we got here. I got something, a little something. Watch this.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out.
Welcome back. I just want to play a little 30 seconds. Willa!
That was funny. Real funny. Hey, good morning, Ryan.
Good morning.
Steve. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Good to have you back, sister. Good to have you back. How was it?
Good to be back. Oh, it was really good. I believe it was. They're asking me to come back in October to a women's conference. So I really believe that God showed up.
Absolutely.
I really believe that God did his message.
So
I always tell people, it's not me.
Yeah,
it's the God that lives it.
Exactly.
Amen.
And I know it was a blessing, but it sounds like, I listen with a lot of different ears, and it sounds like you asked for some more time off in October is what it sounded like to me. But that's what it sounded like. I heard.
That's what I'm saying right here.
Because Sandra, that's what it sounded like to me. That sounded like she asking for some more time off, is what it sounded like.
Amen. Amen.
Well, we're asking a question: what does life owe you? Willow, what does life owe you?
If I may, I was listening to I believe it was Leonard, and he was saying that with the expressions, I want to hit that one, that it's an art, and it's definitely everybody hit it on target, and it was talking about how do we respond to people that have lost somebody or somebody that's depressed. I remember when Rico was talking about this band that he met, and he had the opportunity to talk to him. And when he talked to him, it made a difference in his life. So sometimes when people are going through, you have to let them, you have to sometimes, let me say sometimes, follow through by just wanting to hear what they say first and then respond to it. See, everybody's different when they handle certain things. People are different. So it's an art, and you got to be careful of the things that you say. You really normal things. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, yeah, they're in a better place. I do funerals, Raheem, and I never tell anybody that they're in a better place because I don't want to lie to them. See, that's like you're lying to them. You don't know what's going on once we transition. The Bible does tell us to be absent from the body to be present with the Lord. But we don't know what that presence is. What is that presence? Because the Bible also says in Revelations that when he comes back, that the dead in Christ will rise first. So they were already there, then why do they have to rise? So we just have to be honest. I like when somebody say be honest.
Yeah.
And we be honest and we try to get people hope. So that's where I'm gonna go with that right here. Good morning to everybody.
Hey, good morning. Good morning to you as well. Tucson, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
And you can always tell when somebody is doing the patterned and traditional church talk.
Mm. Mm.
They just used to. They don't know what to say. They just heard it been said. Um, and then, matter of fact, either they go to the hospital and they go to hospice. They go to a person and they see them on their deathbed
Mm.
and they pray for healing in the name of Jesus.
Mm.
Because that's what they hear being said.
Yeah.
And we bless them that they
Mm-hmm.
will be able to recover because God, I know you're able. And He is.
Mm-hmm.
But what about His will?
Mm-hmm.
And part of healing is leaving here. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to be totally healed from life's circumstances, you got to leave here,
Yeah.
unfortunately, or fortunately. It depends on who you are, because it can be either or,
Mm-hmm.
fortunate or unfortunate,
Yeah.
because somebody's going to rest in hell.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
And the common talk or traditional talk is to pray people in heaven. Well, if they live like hell, they ain't going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But we have church talk and we have common talk that you just say something because you heard it said,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mm-hmm.
cause a person to jump off the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know, you can cause a person to feel worse just by opening your mouth because you heard it said before.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I would not, and I'm just being sarcastic. I got to get off a serious side every once in a while. I would hate to be suicidal and or mindset, and I'm not being sarcastic about it, but I just know that you don't want to go to certain people
Yeah.
and say you're gonna commit suicide because they will tell you, Leonard, to
Mm-hmm.
jump
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and see how that
Yeah.
work out for you. So
Exactly. I'm gonna go down here. You're on top of this building and you're talking about jumping. So let me. I'm gonna go down here. We'll put a big X on the ground right there, so you have a target. Cause I don't want you just jumping now. I want you to have a target where you're gonna jump to now. So we're gonna hold on, don't do nothing yet. Now hold on, let me get down here, man. Come on, man. Talk that man off that building. Talk that man off that ledge. Don't sit there and encourage the man to jump. Let it talk to me, brother. There you go.
Hey, Tucson doing it for me today.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got to go to hell.
Everybody wants to go to heaven. No one wants to die. That's
Think
true.
about it, man. We mess up really bad down here. A lot of people don't mess up really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? The only thing that changed the situation was they went about trying to repair,
Mm-hmm.
to do better. I don't care what you did. I don't care if don't nobody like you or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know a bad day? Imagine that sun don't rise.
Mm.
It's gonna be a pretty bad day.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said it don't matter to me what you went through or what have you. That's the determination it took for me not to be just as insane as everybody else. Is that looking forward? Is that hope when there what no indications and what no evidence?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to, as folks would say, step out on that faith. It's a good morning regardless of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
If a missile should fly through that sky today and kill us all, doesn't change the fact the sun rose this morning.
Mm-hmm.
When it stopped getting up, then maybe I'll start feeling a little bit bad. Not to say that bad things aren't happening all around me every day, all the time. Problems you could stack as high as you want. But this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I don't care how I feel about it. I'm going to praise God regardless of the fact. I'm going to speak to you regardless of the fact.
Mm-hmm.
See, good manners teach you that. But the joy I have, the world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The day my mother died, I spoke to everybody, cheered, just good morning, how you doing? Thank you for everything you've done. Even the guy that came to get her body, man, I really appreciate you helping my family in this time of need.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my brother and sister did the best we could to make sure we did what was right by her because we were raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew how she was. She didn't let you sit around there. And if you want to be sad, go and do it in your room. But you're not going to sit in front of me as blessed as you are behaving like that when there are people around here who don't have a roof over their head, who ain't got no clothes on their back, and ain't got no food on their table.
Mm.
And that's the problem. We've gotten to the point where we think our little bitty problems gonna last forever. They're not, unless you want them to. That's the
Mm-hmm.
great thing about being a master over this life that I have, and being given this freedom that I've been given. See, I wasn't born into slavery. So these are the things that I try to help people and I try to teach my son. Well, what have you invested to make it a better day?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't feel good because you are not doing your best. Think about it.
Wow. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I just I really don't have much to add to what's being said. I just want to continue for all of us to try to continue to be a light in somebody's day or even in their dark night. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just to try to be that little light that they can, you know, hold on. There was a scripture that I wanted to mention, if it's okay, real quick.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh, is and this is for people that are feeling hopeless. Jeremiah 29:11 says that, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you,
Mm-hmm.
plan to give you hope and a future." And so that's what we want to instill in people when they're feeling at their lowest, like, there is nothing good coming out of all of this. We need to remember that God's plan is for us to have a hope and a future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. That's good. Absolutely. Absolutely amazing. We're gonna stay here just for a second or two. Then we're gonna transition over to another conversation because I don't know if we have too much more that we can actually say on this particular topic right now. But Badger, what's on your heart? Badger?
Oh man, I was revisiting some thoughts that I've been dealing with, and I also need to make sure I say something. Um, there is a lot of younger people, my age and younger, that are tired. We're tired.
Mm-hmm.
We're tired of arguing. We're tired of separation. We're tired of negative teachings, and a huge majority that I speak with as much as possible. One of the things I hear that I always end up crying about is a comment of "can't wait until the older people pass away,"
Mm-hmm.
and of course I always ask them why. Well, like, why think like that? And their response is always they always hold on to everything. They hold on to the past. They hold on to hate. We just all want to get along and work on making a better future. And the only thing stopping us are the older people that are running this country
Mm-hmm.
or the older people in our communities. And sometimes I'm starting to wonder how true that is.
Mm-hmm.
Because sitting back, like in the community I'm in, I've worked hard to be an activist. I've worked hard at helping the younger people and things like that. But there's just this mentality that's here that anything that promotes better health, better mental health, better awareness, things that could be more beneficial, it's always the older people stopping it.
Mm.
And, I started doing research in different areas and things like that on the people that are speaking up and speaking out and the people that are speaking against. And there's this gap of the younger people wanting a better thing versus the older people that are just stuck in their ways.
Mm-hmm. 30 seconds, Badger.
And I honestly don't know how to. I, I guess sometimes that old saying, "You can't teach old dog new tricks," might be
Mhm.
true.
Wow. Wow. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
That was a right cross and an uppercut.
Mm. And an uppercut?
And yeah, because um, that would, and I don't mean anything by what I'm saying, or maybe I do. I don't know. I hadn't figured it out because I hadn't said it yet. But that would leave us with no foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I understand. I really do, because there are a lot of people that hold their past in front of them and never let it go. And I know that the younger generation is it's possible that they're waiting for some of the older ones to just get out the way
Mm-hmm.
so that they can operate, but they operate with no direction then.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you don't know where you come from, never know where you're going, and you can't walk through life la 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 la
La la la la
la
la
la
la
la
la la la.
la da 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 da, and you bump your head.
Mm-hmm.
Now your head, now you're walking around uh, with your head busted to the white meat,
Mm-hmm.
and you wonder why. Because see, I would, and I understand, I really do understand what he's saying, and I'm not crossed about what Badger is saying. But I didn't agree with a lot of what my parents were saying, and some of it I found out it wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're gone, and I tried my best to keep them alive
Mm-hmm.
in what it was, because some of the things they said, even out of, and it's not a bad word, out of ignorance in certain sort of way, kept us um, with a certain sense of knowledge
Mm-hmm.
that even in their limitations, they overcame some things. If you don't hand some of the generation that's coming up something, then they don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, uh, uh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to think that over to wipe out the whole, uh, again, foundation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just that's dangerous. That just seems to me kind of self-destructive.
Wow. Wow. Rico, what is the responsibility? And we say we're going to switch up a little bit, switch up the topic just a little bit. Well, what is the responsibility? And Badger put something out there and change what where I was going to go. Um, Young people to old people and old people to the young. Who has the greatest responsibility, or and what is the responsibility, if any?
It is. It's a balance. They both have roles.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have to do is we have to lead, mentor, guide, and educate them on their history and what got us to this point so they can continue the process. And then their job is to continue the process and we retire and move on out the way so they could continue until our older days. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Donna said something key. It is self-destruct, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
If people want to really know what is going on, if we keep going on with this mentality that the young adults have, the good is going to outweigh the bad. No matter
Mm-hmm.
how much we want to deny it or how much we say we don't see it or we're not around these people, it's going to happen. He said something that I've heard so many times, and I find it so disrespectful, extreme, and sort of savage.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for these old folks to just die and get out the
Mm.
way. Well, why can't they just retire?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just finished saying that you say good morning to a person, and his mother just died. He might respond in a very um a way that you might not want to receive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you have other people that want them to die. So now as I'm living this life and I'm hearing people say, man, these old people didn't need to die. These old people need to just die. Then something happened to my mama and somebody speak to me, good morning. You know, I know what type of world is it in. You don't mean good morning.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you mean and mean what you say. You know, that's why we talk about prayers, and I tell you about how I feel about when Willa prayers pray.
Mm-hmm.
She she's sincere and genuine. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
trying to knock nobody else prayer, but everybody else sound like it's just routine, like they're just going through the process. Like good morning, tradition, manners, courtesy, whatever you want to call it. But does it really come from your heart? Is it really sincere? Are you just saying good morning just because that's the thing to do? Or are you saying it because you really are concerned about them having a good morning?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's like I'm big on my words meaning exactly what they say. You know, I'm big on standing on my word. I'm big on my word being bond and not just saying things just because that's the proper thing to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but we do have to understand that tradition is something that is key and important for the progress, the positive progress. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing Cassandra use the word hope.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that's one of the biggest words that everybody needs to have, those that really appreciate life and
Mm-hmm.
feel like they owe life something, to understand that they need to let people know that there is always hope.
Exactly.
To always
Exactly.
let people know that there is always some light, some daylight somewhere. If they just take the time to breathe and say, well, you know what, I'll give it another chance. Don't just
Mm-hmm.
willingly throw it away.
Good
But at the
deal.
same time, when you are trying to get these people to understand that there is light and there is hope, use sincere words
Mm-hmm.
because people can tell when you're really sincere with them and when you're being genuine or when you're just saying something to get on out the way and move on to the next.
Good deal. Good deal. We got Ibrahim with us this morning. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm just listening in. I had to go in the hospital a couple of times. I've been dealing with a lung infection the last couple of weeks. But other than that, all praises to God, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Good to have you, brother.
Good morning, all sincerity, my
Yeah,
brothers.
absolutely, absolutely.
One thing I'd like to ask though, how did the event go last night?
Man, it was amazing, brother. It was amazing. Yeah, we had to bring out more tables and chairs to accommodate everybody, man. And yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful event, man. To God be the glory.
I,
Absolutely.
I couldn't find out the owner. I went online to get a ticket, get it
Uh-huh.
on, but it went to some kind of crazy site, you know.
Oh, okay.
Which is silly. But one thing I like to say, I had some more of my relatives graduate high school and blah blah blah, and I was just thinking about all my relatives, immediate relatives that graduated college, trade school, high school, trade school, college, and everything, different colleges, right, different associate
Mm-hmm.
degree, and you know, can we give time today, you know, to thank God those that made the rank of NCO or officers in the military, and also went to college, ROTC, and they graduated. And I give thanks to the Creator for all those that made that trip and journey, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what our ancestors. A lot of you probably not old enough to remember that. You know, education was the number thing. My daddy had about a fifth or sixth grade education. My mama, she did graduate Washington High School here in Atlanta, but mostly all our family they had medium education. So can we give thanks Creator for allowing the generation before us to bring today what we've accomplished today, our generation and the generation preceding, that the accomplishment that they don't give thanks for, but I give thanks that I was able to, my father and mother able to give me an education, and I was
Good
able to
deal.
give my children education, and
Yeah.
they'll get they
And I think hold on, Ibrahim. I think you just did that, brother. I think you just did that. So you know we gonna take that right there. We're gonna stand what you just said. to everybody. But I want to get back on the topic at hand. Ibrahim, what responsibility, and we talk about responsibility right now, does the older generation have to the younger generation, and the younger generation have to the older generation, or are there any responsibilities at all?
Yes, sir. There are definite responsibilities. What I was taught is that your parents try to give you a future. You know what I mean? To try to
Mm-hmm.
create at least to make their environment better than they had, right?
Uh-huh.
However
Mm-hmm.
it is, a lot of times we forget that poverty and poorness is a mindset. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So whatever the trade they're able to give you to help you move forward, we don't understand that nowadays. And I think that we have the responsibility, but also the responsibility of our children to listen and learn. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and listen and learn not only from from their parents and from the society before they go forward and try to make society what they want to make. Now
Mm-hmm.
that's their responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have the right and the God open right to manipulate society after they learn society, they learn the rules and also the courtesies or whatever you might want to say, and then move forward. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we do. We're here. My parents were born to have me, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
born to have my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids now. I want them to move forward. That's on retrogress. If they're not learning and listening to you, then what's the response? You're going to retrogress. You cannot grow.
At what point does progress stop and regress begin?
That's when the children no longer listen. All y'all
Mm.
know it says in the Quran that they asked the Prophet Muhammad, that was a hadith. That's the Prophet Muhammad say, when will be the end of the world? He said, when the slave will command the slave master.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty meant you look at generally, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then our children are commanding us, and we're commanded by our children to do this, that, and other thing. No, we get the respect for our age. One of the things is that when you get older, that you don't have the youth and vigor to carry out your wisdom you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then wisdom is lost on the elderly, just as youth, vim, and vigor lost on the youngest. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The youngsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have the wisdom to engage, right? But now we deny wisdom because we're turned against each other to feed upon each other, and that's when you have retrogression.
Mm-hmm.
When no longer there's no more growth, there's retrogression, there's backbiting. We're fighting against what our ancestors said and the older people, and yet we don't understand the benefit that we see just by being here
Mm-hmm.
because of them.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you progress if you don't want to look at the past, understand the present, and predicate the future?
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Willa. Willa, what do you say to that? What responsibility does the older generation have to the young generation? Young have to the older generation, vice versa, or is there any responsibility at all? Willa.
That, yes, that certainly is a responsibility first from the elderly. The elderly should always, because they do have wisdom, and that wisdom should be transferred to the young. But today's generation is not listening like I think the gentleman just said. They're not listening. The elderly, they have a lot of wisdom. Now, some of the things that they said, I mean, we could go back and say, oh, tradition, you just following tradition. But the elderly, they were wise in what they do, the transfer of your history. And today's generation, once they've gotten to the elderly's gotten to a certain age where they can't take care of each other, that there's nobody in the household, we got a responsibility to take care of them,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're not your grandma, even if they're not part of your relative. Maybe they're your neighbor, maybe they're somebody you know, maybe it was one of your best friends, grandma, your best friend gone. So we got the responsibility to make sure that they're being taken care of. With the way the economy is now, they don't know whether they need to buy medicine or food. Food's going high, medicine is high. So whatever it is that we can do to help the elderly, we as the young should be the ones doing it right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Good
That's
deal.
my take on that.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard, talk to me, brother. What other responsibilities, or are there any responsibilities at all?
Yeah, I think it's the same responsibility that everyone has to
Mm-hmm.
each one teach one.
Mm-hmm.
And I love what Brother Ibrahim was talking about
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of education. You got folks now teaching against education.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't need to go to school. What do you need to go keep learning that stuff for? So we have to be very careful about what we're passing on. What are you passing on to your children?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have made a mistake, but did you let your children know you acknowledge that mistake you made and you're trying to do better? It's that type of thing that I think means the most, is that one, everything ain't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to do a little bit more. I imagine I would be a very rich man had I dedicated myself more so to that. But that's not for me to blame on someone else just because I haven't maximized my potential. What greater place to start than
Mm-hmm.
an education?
Mm-hmm.
Then what greater place to start than an education? What is it that you do desire? Instead of making things up and looking at other people's life, what actually do you desire? Write them down and then come up with a plan to get those things and stay out of other people's business. Most of the young people that I know, because we came out in the streets, and what made the biggest difference in the world is your desire to get out of them streets.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter to me what I was going to do, but I knew that, one, I had faith in God to bless whatever it is I chose
Mm-hmm.
and to keep me safe. And he has been doing that. That's why I continue to serve God. That's why I continue to read scripture and remember them and try to pass at least that little bit of wisdom along to someone.
Mm-hmm.
You would be amazing what you could learn if you shut your mouth.
Come
And
on.
all these young people talking about what they don't like and where the hell you think you going?
Mm-hmm.
But getting old.
Mm-hmm.
When you gonna get some sense to realize you can't sit around and hope somebody else do something.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go do it. You old enough to be on the city council. You old enough to be a U.S. representative. You old enough to be a. I remember when I first went to corporate America and became a manager so young, the youngest manager. Then I was black. Then I was a male, and blah blah blah. And some people just, I can't believe. I tell you what, believe it outside of these walls.
Mm-hmm.
Try me if you want to,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm prepared for this. I was blessed to do this. I'm sitting here, you talking about, well, you ain't Disney. I tell you what, I can sit here with this pen and take away your livelihood. Why should we even have this type of relationship when we can come to work? If you be in my work groups, one thing people will tell you, I love to go and get the work done, have fun. I do everything for you. Only time it get nasty is when you bring a nasty attitude to me.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart, man? Responsibility. Are there any responsibilities? Have we deviated from those responsibilities?
Um, yeah. Like I said, the responsible, what I feel like our responsibilities are is strictly biblical. That's the way I take mine. I take it from the Bible. What does the Bible say we should do? Because that's how I try to live my life. This is just not something that we read and say we're supposed to do this, or the Bible says we're supposed to do this. It should be our lifestyle. So then, yeah, responsibilities, or what does the word say about what we should be doing? That's what
Mm-hmm.
I believe we should be doing. That's our responsibility.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Hey, Raheem,
Yes, sir.
before you move on, excuse me, I thought your plaque was, I mean, excellent
Oh, thank you,
for
brother.
this, because on those plaques
Mm-hmm.
it said, for having the strength to overcome great obstacles
Yes,
and
sir.
walk in your purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Great obstacles. And we heard about the obstacles.
Yes. Yes. Man, we have Leonard, man.
Come on, man.
It was some powerful stories last night, man. I was like, wow.
You never know somebody's story,
Yeah.
man, and where they came from and how it took them to get where they are today. I would,
Mm-hmm.
like my grandfather, I don't know what it would be like to at night pack up my family and move north
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
get a place. And then I have to go and get another lot and have to have a garden just to feed all my children.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat and had all my children with one woman, and we stayed
Mm.
committed to one another until death did us part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that, ain't nothing like watching our people. And like what Big Mama was talking the other day, there's no doubt what that woman has been through and what she has seen.
Yeah.
And like she said, to be mentally retarded when they didn't even have school for those types of kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
She didn't even let that stop her. Now she pastoring and feeding more people than you can imagine. See, that's bigger to me to
Yeah.
see people overcome those obstacles than to sit around, woe is me. I ain't nobody. I ain't this and I ain't that. When is you gonna change that conversation?
Wow. Wow. Hold on, Ibrahim. I see you, brother. I'm gonna come back to you. Let me circle around. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm get back to what you had asked because I sort of jumped off a little earlier, and I did that because I wanted to make sure I addressed that last topic. The younger generation and the older generation has a responsibility to each other. And the reason why we have to understand the process of life, first off, then you got to understand the process of cause and effect. A younger person can't tell you the effect of something they haven't gone through yet. But you ask, have we dropped the ball or have we lost it? Yes, we lost it because the world is dictated by trend now. If you look around, all of the adults have to go and adjust to what the youth says. You know what I'm saying? The youth says this is hot. The youth says this is cool. And we adapted. We start using the words, using the technology, doing the little challenges and stuff. I mean, there's so many different things you see. In general, the trend is changing. So it should be a balance of tradition and trend. See, the thing is the reason why we have to keep up with the trend is to understand how life is evolving. As adults, as we get older, there are going to be new things that the younger children create, the younger adults create, that we are not aware of because we have a different outlook on life. We're doing different things. So we have to be aware of what's going on with them to be able to monitor, to be able to maintain what's going on. We know that they have video games and TVs and internet and all these different things that many people didn't have when they were young. So that was a new trend, that technology. So we do have to keep up with the trend because they are eventually going to be the future. You know, we say we believe the children are our future. Well, that's more than a song. That's a fact. And when they are the future, then they're going to be the future leaders. Therefore, they have to be prepared to understand what it would take to continue the ball rolling in the way that it has rolled because they don't understand or didn't see what happened in the past before them that worked or may not have worked. So that's the reason why there has to be a complement amongst both sides. We got to understand the trends that's going on to be able to understand how to communicate with these people, to get them to understand the youth to understand the purpose of life and the whole, you know, what the goal and agenda is. But at the same time, we have to understand their new trends to be able to relate and find out how to evolve that message of the tradition to get them to understand what the true purpose is. Because they will never know the true purpose if they didn't learn. You know, you ever heard the phrase, if you don't know better, you can't do better? Well, you don't come into this world knowing.
Yeah.
So if they don't listen to tradition, if they don't listen to the adults, if they don't find enough ways to start respecting and appreciating the life of these adults and these old people that they want to die and move on out the way, then their life expectancy may go from 76 to 56.
Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good. Let me go to Ibrahim. You had some on your heart. And Ibrahim, let me ask you this question. A lot of times I've seen people, I've seen elderly people of a certain age talking to younger people. And the young person say, well, I really don't understand. And the older person response was, just keep living. Just keep living. You'll get it. Just keep living.
Yeah.
Now that's a powerful statement. But did that older person miss a teachable moment in not explaining it?
Well, you know, I tried that and explained, and the first thing I get, why you always going back in the past? This is a new day. This is a new day. The past don't matter. And I be, you know, like they want everything like this. They want the whole story like this. You cannot do it. You cannot give a life experience in a 2-second sound bite. But you can give them a story of future of you know the start, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and a moral to that story. You'll never get to the moral of that story explaining something, how you can view present day circumstances with that particular wisdom. And they don't, if they don't want to hear it, some will sit back and listen to you and they will evaluate. I have some nephews that will sit and listen to me, and I have some nieces and nephews that look at me like, there you go. I got grandchildren, a great grandchildren. There you go. But they missed the point. So, and also I think that's where the communication comes in, the lack of communication. You got to receive and you got to give back. You don't, first thing you hear, you don't understand me. You don't understand me. You got to listen to me. Listen to me. And you've heard this thing so many times that it's almost like frustrating. I know exactly what you're going to say. I can write it down and tell me exactly what they're going to tell me. And then they'll say, well, you just making it up. So I think that we have to learn how to teach our children how to pause, to stop the noise, to listen, to hear.
Okay, we lost you there, Ibrahim. We lost you, brother. We lost you. Something happened. We lost your sound. Something happened. We lost your sound there, brother. I don't know. Go out and come back in. Go out and there you go. Go out and come back in. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, that's one of the things I work on with the younger generation is
I'm sorry.
understanding that.
I didn't hear what you were saying.
Hold on. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you, Ibrahim. Go ahead, Badger.
Is that the older generation is why we have all the things that we have now. And I get asked, well, how? All we hear is complaining and this and that and hatred and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, there's Martin Luther King. There's all the people that were a part of that. There's the activists of today. And they're like, well, not much has changed. And I'm like, well, that's not correct either. I think there's such a lot of the separation stuff is due to the way things are taught. Because a lot of times I've taught or shared the history of as much of the people as I know about for across the board, and showed how because of this, this, and this, we got to where we are right now. And if it wasn't for this, we wouldn't be where we are today. So, but I also try to share that the biggest issue that we face today is is going to boil down to not blaming other people, taking responsibility for our choices, and coming together as one. Don't let anything separate us. Not age, not race, none of that junk. We're one race. We're the human race. The only thing it's genetics. Some people have more melatonin than another person. Some people are older, some people are younger. When we let those teachings and mentalities affect us, we're not going to solve anything.
Yeah.
Because it's going to keep us separated. So when I brought it up earlier, please don't think I think that way.
Good deal.
I was sharing
the ideology of others.
Right. And I sit there and I share all these things. I talk about you. I talk about Leonard and Cassandra and how y'all are activists and sharing this and all the things that y'all do. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, they don't. But we hear them say this and this on the show. And I'm like, but you haven't taken the time to know who they are. Just because you hear someone talk about something that you don't agree with, that's called having a difference of opinion, which is allowed. You're allowed to agree to disagree. But what's not okay is you're going to hate somebody, which is what you're saying is they hold on to hate and everything else, but you're doing it right now. You're disliking them. You're upset at them because you assume something that is not going to be true.
Exactly. Exactly.
So when people talk about history and different things like that, some people get emotional, some people get passionate. That's gonna happen. Not everyone can talk in a monotone voice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many times even me talking about Native history and Black history of America, I start crying. I get angry
Mm-hmm.
because I know what the white skinned people did. It's I mean, I'm glad I haven't found none of my ancestors that did it, but that doesn't change the fact. What did my ancestors do to promote the better? The,
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
so if since they didn't do it, it's my responsibility to make sure we do have equal rights
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't brave enough to do it. And that's the
Absolutely.
way I look at my ancestry and my past. But then my Native American side,
Yeah.
genocide.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So people are going to get upset when they know what's happened in the past. But
Mm-hmm.
it's learning from the past and learning how to apply it today and for the future to not repeat.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Let me keep this thing going. Cassandra, what's on your heart, man? Responsibility. Old to the young, young to the old, vice versa. Is there any responsibility, or are we just looking at this thing through blinders?
No, I want to thank Badger
Mm-hmm.
for what he just said
Yes.
because it actually almost brought me to tears because, you know, I can be very passionate about the things that I believe in, but I hope that my work speaks for me. You might not like me, you might not like what I say, but my life should speak for me. And that's what I hope every day, that I'm being responsible with the light and my accountability to God is being fulfilled on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's not gonna like me. I don't expect that. But at least say, you know what, she did what she said she was about. I don't care whether you like me or not,
Mm-hmm.
but she did everything that she talks about. She just didn't say it, but
Mm-hmm.
she lived it on
Mm-hmm.
a daily basis.
That's
So
good.
Badger, thank you for that because that what you said, that was everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Willa.
And amen,
Hey.
Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to piggyback on that one because we have a responsibility to live what we say and do what we say. A lot of times we are hypocritical of what we say, and your relatives are looking. The children are looking. Nieces, nephews, they're looking. My mother-in-law. I mean, she was in her 80s, and uh, her children would curse around her, and I would tell them because they were adults. I said, "Hey, why you don't you see Mama now? Why you cussing?" Her first response is, "I'm grown." I
Mm.
said, "But you don't lose the respect."
Yeah.
I said, "Your mother is still there, and why are you cursing around her?" Her
Mm-hmm.
daughter was there; she was 13, and I said, "Natalia, come here, Natalia." I said, "I want you to stop cursing." She looked at me like I was crazy, of course, because she
Mm-hmm.
knew she wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, "Now that is you in a bigger form. Your
Mm-hmm.
mother's still there. Don't curse around your mother. I don't care how old you get. That does not take away from the respect that your parents are honored with." And that's one thing we got to do right here. We got to be an example of what we say in order to get some validity to the young. Because if they see you doing something worse off than what you're trying to teach them, they ain't listening to you.
No.
So yeah, our action is also accountable for how we teach the generation that's up to come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
It's very important that we pass on the best things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we've gone too far and we need to get rid of a lot of this, a lot of things that we do and say because it keeps us from growing. There was this, my parents, for instance, do as I say, not as I do,
Yeah.
because they knew they would fail, that they would make mistakes. Just because you see me make a mistake don't give you a right to make the same mistake. If you saw me fall, why would you go that way? This whole hurt people, but there's still no excuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's still no excuse.
Come on.
We
Talk
can
about it.
say what we want. We can make up fancy ways to cover things up. But one thing I've learned getting older is that God's word does not go out void. Don't mock the word of the prophet. Because when you start living long enough and you start seeing things happening, hey, I read that as a child. Now look, I read that as a child, some of these things that would be happening. Just read them. Because once somebody told me just by reading the word, you get a blessing, not understanding it. All you got to do is read it. And you get a blessing just for the reading the word.
Yes. Yes. Come on.
Where everybody talk about this. Do you go into relationships looking for other people's mistakes, looking for other people's shortcomings? Why? Why? Some people go along with you just enough to find out your weakness, to use it against you. Like, say, for instance, I love the scripture. If you don't claim me down here, don't think I'm gonna claim you up there. You know, those so simple words like that. There's a lot of wisdom in that. And it takes for old people to make sure, you know, we got it in writing now, but guess what? It didn't used to be written down. And so there's some personal stories that'll never be written down that be passed from person to person, generation to generation. Stories of what the ancestors went through and things of that nature. If you see yourself going by the wayside, that may be what pulls you back on track. Because somebody has gone through that. And you know, you got young people say, you don't know. So is this about me knowing or how you actually feel? Because it's not about me.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
You know how some people they come and ask you for help and then they wind up telling you who you is. I know you didn't just call me for help and cuss me out. See, I believe in, you know, somebody got to be the leader.
Yeah.
Else both y'all gonna wind up going off the edge of the cliff. That old person should be that strength. Like when you climbing, you got to secure your rope first. You can't be down there talking about, I know this, you ain't been here but 25 years trying to tell somebody else what to do. Ain't got no kids yet. Don't know whether you go the girl way or the boy way, but you wanted to tell me what now? Yeah,
Wow.
you grown, but I feed you and you live in my house.
Something ain't right about this growing.
Something ain't right.
Yeah.
You out of order.
Exactly. Let me go to Tucson and then I'll come to you, Ibrahim. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
No, if we're supposed to be, if we're obligated to teach it, and we are, I believe that we are. Say we, the older, are obligated, supposed to give them some direction. And you're not looking for direction. We got a problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I think something else that Badger said, somebody said, that we got to learn to get out the way. Not totally, don't take that wrong by when we say we get out the way. But you got to let them do. Give them what they need to accomplish what they want to. Not a handout. There are some things that I'm working on to have things at their disposal because they're more familiar with it. Computers and you know, they're sharp as a tick. Kids are sharp. I mean, you give them a 5-year-old electronic device, they can do some stuff. Here we are with all of our wisdom, we say, and we can't even turn the doggone thing on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So those things can work together, but you got to figure out how to do it. You
Exactly.
can't dismiss them
Mm-hmm.
because they sharp. They think quick. I don't know if uh, we were dumbfounded or not. I don't think we were, but we didn't have everything at our disposal like they
Mm-hmm.
do now.
Yeah.
You can find out anything. My nephew, and I'll shut up. My nephew, um, at 15, he bought two cars, one for the engine and the transmission. He rebuilt the thing in his mother's garage. You know how he did it? He Googled it.
Mm. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah,
Ibrahim,
I want to use.
hold on. Ibrahim, let me ask you this question before you go there.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go where you want to go, but let me ask you this question first. What is the most valuable thing the elderly side can give to the youth? What's the most valuable gift that they could give to them?
Navigating life, the ability to learn to love. I
Mm.
mean, the love to learn and love to learn and to love. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's where I was going with this too. Um, if we can look at like the information age, right? It is so diverse that you get garbage in, garbage out. I studied computers when they had the flow train. You know what I mean? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like today, but only it's digital. Everything is a lot faster, but it's the same basic principle. Flow train, right? And a lot of people don't,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what flow train, a child is like a sponge from birth. They are geniuses as far as absorbing all the information they get around them. But what do you do with this information? That's when you
Mm-hmm.
need direction. So look at an adult or a person that's older than you as a GPS system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Y'all use GPS, right? We know that that thing can get glitchy. But if you have a familiar knowledge with the area, then you can help aid in your search to things with that GPS. But if you don't have no knowledge about them, you just turn that GPS, inspect, and push a button, inspect to go where you want it to go, you will be so disappointed so many times. I don't know where to start at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how much more money you pay for the program. So you're getting all this information, but how do you assess this information? What is it? It tell you the shortest route, tell you the fastest route. What is better for you? Highways, no highways, or whatever. You have to make this determination, but you cannot make this determination without experience. So a 25-year-old should talk to a 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And you be like, wow, this kid is out there, right? And you understand the mechanisms. Tell them what you went through, right? If they
Yeah.
want to learn, and then and on and on and on, right? So I tell people, I'm telling you, what I'm talking to you, I'm looking in the rearview mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking at. Now, what can you possibly tell me that I don't already seen, right? It's where you've been. You know what I mean? And I got to
Mm-hmm.
sort that, take your information in and see well. But I'm telling you where I've been, where you going.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't respect that, you know, we used to do it on radio, CB all time truck driver. Where you
Mm-hmm.
been, brother? Yeah, we got the cop ahead of 20-mile marker. Blah. Where you coming from? Well, I was down there in Dallas, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's information. That's usable information, accurate information. But we just get information and absorb it. Well, hell, that's why we have a conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
that's all I got to say, bro.
Good deal. Good deal. Man, we got this is so good. I'm loving this part of the conversation right here, man, because there is a bridge there. But how do we close that gap between that bridge, between the elderly and the young people? Rico, how do we close that gap?
We close the gap by getting everybody to realize the most important piece of the puzzle is the appreciation of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest piece of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? Out of love and everything, ain't nothing more important than life. Everything evolves except the process of life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to live and you're going to die. What happened before then and after then, who knows? But
Mm-hmm.
one thing you know for sure is that you are going to be born and you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in between, you're going to have to find out as you go through this experience. And with us knowing this, going through this experience of life, we know when we were young, there were certain things we had to be taught. And then after we got a little bit older, we realized there were more things we needed to learn, but somewhere we may have thought we were grown. We didn't realize that age was just a number. We didn't realize that, you know what, there was still wisdom and education and knowledge to be given because at 18 or 19, I still don't know what it feels to be 50. I don't know about these health issues and these things. I might feel like, you know what, man, I'm going to be able to run and do all these things that I've been doing my whole life, even though I look at them older people and they falling down and they breaking down and this and that. That ain't going to help me because I know what they did. They didn't take care of themselves. They didn't go to the gym. They didn't do like I did. I'm special. You know, I had a friend died of a heart attack for 20 minutes in August and was resurrected. And before then, he was the healthiest person on the planet. He was special. He just felt like for some reason he's special. He ain't never been sick. He ain't got no problem, no issues. Man, you human. You human. So, you know, actually, Donald, he's been repeating quite a bit, you know, what I was saying as far as the respect in life. We got to find that balance. Because through the experience that we have, we understood it at youth, there were some things that we did and we created that we had to make our parents aware of, a different type of culture and trend. And sometimes the parent had to learn and find out how to adapt to that culture and that trend to still be able to relate to us so they could still give us all the knowledge and the wisdom that we needed to still take care of the most important thing. But see, we feel like this age is a number thing, and it really is, you know, I ain't gonna say it's true all the time, but a lot of people feel like that. I think most of society believe that age, you know, that means something, but I believe age is just a number because Jesus died at 33. That means he accomplished everything he did and had everybody following him as a youth, even older people, even his elders. So it doesn't mean that a youthful person couldn't lead an older person. Martin Luther King Jr., a lot of the marches that he had elders walking beside him and behind him. But they also fed him wisdom and knowledge so he would know how to prepare and do what he needed to do in this new age of protest and marching for rights, fighting for society. You know, because everything evolves. Trends change. And for every generation that's born onto this earth, a trend is going to exist that they will only know of from that point forward. And it's up to the elders to go back and tell them about the past traditions. Once again, so we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. Because if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes. So that's the reason why it's so important for the adults to make sure they do what they're supposed to do with the youth. Give them that quality time.
Good deal. Good deal.
Give them that quality knowledge and information so they can have a good grasp on what's more important and understand that that was a cause and effect that got them to this point. There was a whole history in the life that went on before they came here. And the reason why they have what they have is because of that process.
Good deal. Good deal. Got to keep this thing moving. Hold on, Ibrahim. I'm going to come right back.
I want to ask a question. That's all.
Okay. What's your question?
Well, I heard the brother talking and, you know, and I was saying information. Some information, what do you know about Martin Luther King's grandparents and his father? What do you know about their lives that may have brought him? Anybody could have been a Martin Luther King, but what do you know about him when you say that? That he did get wisdom, but that was from his grandparents and his father, the life they lived, you know, and how they groomed him to have these experiences, right? Now, Atlanta Black History Tours, I'm part of it. I talk about what we did in spite of all that stuff, right? But understand the history. See, if you know a good case in point, Martin Luther King's grandfather, A.D. Williams, I'll make this real short, he was born in slavery, 1858 in Madison, Georgia. His daddy was a slave preacher. He came out, and then late 1800s, he became a preacher. He built Ebenezer Baptist Church years before Martin Luther King was born. And by the way, his name was Michael King. And he also established all that way before Martin Luther King was born. He participated in 1906 race riots. So anyway, going on, he became the first president in Davis to be in Atlanta. And his father came up from a farm and all this, right? And they used to make him go to the farm to learn work, right? Down in Stockbridge, Georgia. But he taught him when he became a pastor, he was influenced by the Reverend Williams to become a pastor, and by his mother allowed him to be pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church before he was born. See, you understand? You see the flux now. And he was also participating in integration and the vote, you know, in 20s and 30s. You see what I'm saying? So if you see the connection, this is where he comes from, and not only are the churches involved in. So that history is so important that we hear things, we get bits and pieces of it, and we don't understand it in context.
Exactly.
You know, that's a good example. I'm sorry, I go on. So the question I want to ask is, do you understand that the whole thing is built up on predicated what already occurred that gives people information to move forward?
What you're talking about is foundation.
The foundation.
You're actually talking about foundation and the foundational support that he had to make him who he was to be able to walk the journey and the path that he went on. So basically, what you're talking about is foundation. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, and many of us didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned through our experiences and God, giving us the wisdom to do what we do because I had no foundation in helping people and I did not have that. I had nobody that was a light for me that I could follow. I love what the brother was saying about Dr. King because he had somebody that he could look up to see what road to take. I
Mm-hmm.
did not have that. I did not have my mother. I did not have my father. I didn't have my grandparents. Nobody was light. Nobody was light. So
Mm-hmm.
everything that I learned through my experiences, through the pain of my experiences, and then not wanting to see other people go through that same type of pain if I can do something to help them. But I learn a lot from young people. I love listening to young people. I
Mm-hmm.
love learning from them because I think that is what it's going to take if we're going to bridge the gap between us that is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I honor our young people and I'm always listening to them. What do you think we need to do? How do you
Yeah.
think we need to get to what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is important.
Good deal. Good deal. Willow, what do you say to that, man? Bridging the gap, communication, making it right. How do we do that?
I was listening to Cassandra, and she was saying that to listen to the youth, and I believe that that's the right path on learning that gap between what we're missing, because we're looking at it in a different way. We're looking at it from our generation. The word stays the same, that doesn't change, but the delivery is the difference. So the way the generation is now, we as elders, or should I say the older generation, have to get through that gap. And the way that I see it from my own experiences with dealing with my nephews, and I'm going to point out my nephews the most because they lacked a lot of male role models in their life. And they were raised by women. So it's really hard for them to really understand what it is of being a man.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I reach a knowledge through men that I know to introduce them to because they lacked it. They lacked it during their raising, their upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
So when they find somebody that they respect and that they can go to when they're going through those hard times, they have somebody to reach at other than their mother. So that's one thing that I've done. I've kind of put a role model, or several role models in their lives, and it seems to have worked out, that way.
Good deal. Toussaint?
Yeah, it's good to have it's let's see. If it's nothing wrong with reconstructing the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
There was I was trying to go somewhere this weekend, and the bridge was under construction.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you see what I'm saying.
Okay.
Through the process of time, it was deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going to build another bridge there because in order to get across, there has to be something.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Got to be a
We have
structure.
to find a way to reconstruct the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Don't dismiss it because you'll never get across.
Mm-hmm.
If we wipe out all the elders, it's man. I know it seems like they're deteriorating. Yeah, of course they are. I mean, this body going every day. But still, in all, don't burn the bridge that brought you over.
Mm.
Don't burn bridges at all.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that I don't fool with, but I, I say that I don't fool with. I kind of um, set that relationship aside for a period of time
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you never know when you have to go that way again.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Wow.
some people that have broken relationships, but I don't dismiss them people out of my life. I don't. I just don't. Even I'm gonna say it, Brahim and Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
Even some Georgia peaches.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Leonard.
Don't go down that road, Tucson. Don't go
Exactly.
do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I just had to throw that out there. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is these elderly people that have crossed the path. You think about those that have paved the way for us to have the even the opportunity to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just hey, don't worry about the Martin Luther this and there are people that not even in the history books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of are your elders
Mm-hmm.
that you wonder why they have calluses in their hand,
Mm-hmm.
and here you just appreciating the property. How you got that?
Exactly. Exactly. Leonard, read this for me, brother. Public citizen.
One thing I've learned over time is not to put down the younger people for their ignorance or naivety. Naivete. They have many good ideas and can be less jaded than us.
Talk to me, Leonard.
Well, I think first of all we have to change the language.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody putting young people down. They're putting them in their place.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Everyone has their place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, young people are great at lots of things once they become once they realize that their greatness is in them. But all the mistakes that they have made, guess what? Somebody older don't made them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody older has already made those mistakes. You need, like, I remember when they used to say birds of a feather flock together and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Guess what? That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. You know, how they used to tell one young girl if she hang around a bunch of other pregnant girls, guess what?
Guess where you gonna be?
That's who you going to be.
Mm-hmm.
One thing young people are great at is living for today. They're great at that,
Mm-hmm.
at living for today. But you have to realize that if you plan on being here tomorrow, you might want to take some words of advice.
Mm-hmm.
If you plan on being here tomorrow,
If.
if.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had you and I raised you and got you to where you at, give that older person some credit.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents. There's a blessing that goes along with obeying your parents too and being obedient. They say you get what, almost 70 years?
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yep.
wise saying.
Exactly.
And really it's just trying to encourage you to treat your parents with respect because what you don't remember is when you couldn't do anything for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that amazing that somebody you raised and fed and did everything for and you love more than anything in the world turn around there and smart talk you,
Yep.
be
Mm-hmm.
disrespectful, act like they doing something on their own and they and ain't even the clothes you looking at the clothes you bought them on your back.
Get pimp slap. Get
Come
pimp
on,
slap.
man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like I told my son, I'm here to facilitate your best decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But that BS, I'm not fond of.
No. No. Not at all. I'm gonna change up a little bit. We only got about 4 minutes, so I'm gonna do a little quick survey with everybody that's on here. And it's a post that a friend of mine put up here, and I'm gonna ask the question. One got to go. One of these shows got to go forever. You can never look at it, see it, hear about it, nothing anymore. One of them got of these four. Which one do you nominate that have to go? Sanford and Son, Good Times, What's Happening, or The Jeffersons? Two songs. Which one got to go?
Oh man. What was the third one?
Sanford. The third one was the What's
What's
Happening.
happening?
What's Happening? Yeah.
Yeah, because I need Sanford and Son.
Mm-hmm.
Good times. Yeah. Um, what's happening? I think the other ones are classics. That
Okay.
one is too, but
Okay. Rico, which one got to go?
I would say what's happening, man, but I sort of hate to say that because that single mother Mabel,
Yeah.
she did her job
Yes,
with
she did.
Raj and what's her name? What was the daughter name? I can't remember what the daughter
D.
name.
D.
Well,
D.
yeah, Raj and D.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? She did her thing. You know what I'm saying? I always I don't want to say admire her, but that sort of stuck out to me that she was struggling as a mother, but she still kept her respect and dignity and man taught them the best that she could. You never saw her thinking in a negative way.
Yeah.
You didn't see what you see in today's woman in her.
Good deal. So which one you pick? Which one got to
I
go?
still have to pick that one. Okay. I still have to pick what's happening.
Okay.
Well, you know what, man? Let me take that back. I think it would probably be more important nowadays for what's happening to be around so women can see that as an example.
Okay.
Since it represented a single mother, I think I would rather get rid of maybe the Jeffersons.
Okay. Okay. Put that on your list, Jeffersons. Okay. Cassandra.
What's happening?
What's happening? Okay. Wow. Willa.
Good time.
Good times. Wow. Okay. Wow. Badger.
What's the 3?
It's actually 4. We got
4.
We got Sanford and Son, Good Times, What's Happening, or the Jeffersons. One have to go forever. Which one?
Good Times.
Okay. Okay, let me see who. Curtis. One of these 4 shows got to go, brother. Forever. Archives, everything gone. And good morning to you, Curtis. Sanford and Son, Good Times, What's Happening, or the Jeffersons. Which one got to go?
What's happening?
Why y'all beating down what's happening? Let me see here. Talk to me, Leonard.
What's happening? Sanford and Son is still my favorite show of all time, and Red Fox is my favorite comedian of all time. So I'm gonna always be with Sanford and Son. But what's happening? What's happening? I think you talking about why everybody picking what's happening.
Yeah.
No, just disrespect to some, but it probably has to do with more so, and Kirk could probably comment related to acting. And the cast being predominantly child actors. I think that may be because once you grow up and you remember some of the great episodes, but they still were children.
Yeah.
So they talked about those things that children talk about.
Okay.
So some of the shows may not have been hitting the spot for everybody like other shows that are good shows. There's a little bit of everything seems like in that show all the time.
Good deal. Good deal. Ibrahim, which one got to go?
Oh, I would say Good Time. But Good Times was instructive because it talked about how they got us viewed into the projects, right? Start off the whole family was there, and then little bit, the man became very demeaning, right? In the character, in a couple of characters, right? Now, the reason I like, just like the brother Sanford and Son, this was a businessman. He was a struggling businessman, but he's some kind of way with all this, machinations, he was successful. And the only thing I didn't like about Jefferson's, but he was a businessman too. He was a successful businessman, and so he raised up himself in his life. But because his ego, that's the only thing I didn't like. But it made a lot of hilarity. So those are 2. I would think if I want to get rid of anything, it'll be Good Time.
Okay, good deal.
Burn it, tear it up, throw it away. Ashes only, right?
Wow. That's good. Let it read that for me, brother. Public Citizen.
What's Happening was one of the first shows that showed me black characters I could really relate to.
Wow.
I was thinking that same thing, man. See, that's when and Leonard said that about it being youth, but when it was on, we were youth.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I based my decision off of when I watched it originally live. I didn't base it off of a grown person's aspect because I didn't look at it as a grown man. I watched it as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that actually being more realistic,
Mm-hmm.
even more than the good times.
Okay.
And so now I like what Ibrahim said about the Jeffersons because even though all of them were funny, see, this is the thing, you gotta discern between the hilarious and the comedy of it, and then go back to the message because all of these programs had a message,
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
unconscious subliminal message that most people refuse to look at because they love entertainment so much.
Mm-hmm.
But George Jefferson was only about money. He thought money was the only thing that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was a
Yeah.
successful black man,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? He didn't know how to talk to his mama. He didn't know how to talk to his wife. He didn't know how to talk to his son. The only thing he knew how to do was be happy and glad that he was a successful black man, and that's what he hung his hat on.
And
To
he
the point that he didn't even know how to be a person.
and he'll suck
He
and
was
he'll
funny.
suck and he'll suck up to the Wittenbergs and people that had all the money. He'll suck up to them in a minute now.
He was. He
Yeah.
was. So I mean, you know, a lot of people miss that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
funny that I'm listening to everybody. I'm observing and I'm listening to everybody and don't realize who really got caught up in the comedy and who really missed the fact that these programs have a clear message.
Mm-hmm. Read this here for me, Leonard. We got one more comment here.
George Jefferson had a lot of bigoted attitudes, but he was still a cool and interesting character.
Talk to me, Leonard.
I mean, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
He did what he did for his family, and he wanted to achieve something,
And he did.
and he did that, and he learned those lessons along the way. And
Mm-hmm.
because one is, he brought his mother with him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have, he was with one woman. He loved his son, and he wanted his son to be successful. You
He loves
know,
some Weezy now. He loves some
oh, oh,
Weezy.
oh yeah, most definitely. And it was like if you watched the show before the Jeffersons, like the Archie Bunkers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was great how Louise's character, if you notice, she stayed the same, and she talked about the caring and understanding and not forgetting where she came from.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the balance between her and George.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one here, they got all this money, but where Louise went? Youth center, the help center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
He was in charge, he was making the money, and she was helping the community. They were a unit,
I'm
and
gonna
if it
tell you one
wasn't for
show.
George's determination, they wouldn't never had gotten that piece of pie.
Exactly.
Jesus,
Exactly.
Father,
And I'm gonna tell you
You know
something.
what?
Let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this right here. And one of the episodes one of my favorite episodes of the Jeffersons, and I have a lot of good episodes of the Jeffersons, but one of the ones that I really liked was that Christmas episode where
Yeah.
where he every year he sent a gift. He sent gifts and money to his old home where he said he would nobody will ever have to suffer like he suffered in that house no more. And so every year during Christmas he sent a check and gifts to anybody that's living in that house, in that apartment that he grew up in. Man, that was so powerful, man. And I think a lot of people really miss that. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I absolutely loved the Jeffersons because it gave us sort of like a hope, a ray. It was like a ray of sunlight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We can achieve, we can get there, we can move up to the other side or whatever, however you want to put it. But it
Moving on
really
up.
instilled, hey, we can achieve this thing. We can,
Mm-hmm.
have our piece of the pie. So I really enjoyed the Jeffersons.
Good deal. Good deal. Curtis, talk to me, brother.
Hey, you said me, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
In all reality, from an actor's point of view, right? Sherman Hemsley, George,
Yes.
he had no choice but to play that character
Mm-hmm.
because the role that he had played before that, if you was to see the play, he played a role called Get Low,
Mm-hmm.
and a play written by the late great Ozzie Davis, and the play is called Pearly, and Get
Mm-hmm.
Low
Yeah. Yep.
is what we would call what we mistakenly call the modern day Uncle Tom. So he had to play that kind of role because 9 times out of 10 he did not. I mean, when people see you play that role, and he played it well. him, Nell Carter, Melba Moore, Cleavon Davis. He played
All
it so that people might would that he would always be a sellout. So he had to play George Jefferson. But one of my favorite shows of all time, y'all gonna think I'm crazy when I say it, that I think don't get enough mention. I used to love Benson, man.
Oh yeah.
Do y'all remember that show?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to,
Robert Guillaume.
because from an actor's point of view, that show was
Wow.
Robert Guillaume was serious, man.
Ibrahim, you wanted to say something, brother?
No, I was just gonna sing the Good Time song, but
oh no.
But look at, but you know, man, y'all make so many valid points about that because it's perspective, right? And I see the perspective that he brought about a good times from a youth point of view. You know what I mean? And you know, because you didn't see all the racism and negativity was going in there, right? And you know, the main character Amos left because of that. You know, at one time the projects was designated for the whole family, men, women, and children, everything. And then in the late 60s, early 70s, they took a swing to the dark side where men could not be in there over the age of 18, right? Unless it was income earning, you couldn't be in there. So you had to get rid of the men. That was destruction of the black family in progress right in front of our eyes as it was happening. And I've been to Cabrini Green during that time and after that time. And Cabrini Green wasn't that kind of nice place that they made it out to be, right?
Yeah.
But all the characters were intensely, at least the parents and the lady that was next door and adopting you know, the actress what's her name? But anyway, they were all intense on their survival and making a life for their children. You know what I mean? Whatever life they was, they took whatever they had and made a life for their children. So, and it looked, and that's how you see a home. You should see a home, not with what everybody got on the outside, but what you have right there in your home. You have love, peace, and patience.
Good deal. We're gonna get out of here in just a second. Rico, I think you wanted to say something, brother.
Oh man, I ain't really have nothing big to say, man. I mean, look, it's just some shows. You know, it's entertainment, TV shows. They have messages. I wish Sanford and Son would have had a woman on the show. You know, the other three shows had some very strong black women. You know, George was who he was. You know what I'm saying? James was who he was. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, they were all good shows. I watched every last one of them. I just, you know, like I said, if I had to get rid of one, I'd probably get rid of George. I think George was more or less like the Republican.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, Ryan, can I say that?
Yes, sir.
Before you go, hey, look, the only thing that broke my heart about Good Times was when they finally made it. James died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They finally moved out.
Get a chance to get out.
And Sanford and Son has some women. Rico, what about you? How you gonna discount Esther and
Esther.
No, I mean, for the mother.
Yeah.
Lamont didn't have a mother, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Esther adopted the little dude, and then Julio had the people, you know, but they didn't have a main mother role like the other three. You know what I'm saying? You had Louise. Weezy was a wife. You know what I'm saying? Mabel, and I don't know what they call it, what's happening. But, you know, she was divorced, single mother. You know what I'm saying? So you saw them three mothering roles. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't knocking Sanford and Son because, you know, Sanford and Son is king.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could sit back and laugh at that all day long. Now, what about the show That's My Mama?
Oh, yeah. That was good, too. That was, actually, I used to love That's My Mama because D was quick with it. D didn't care what she said to you.
That was Tim Reed, right? Tim Reed.
No, I don't think that wasn't Tim Reed.
Didn't he play the son?
Yeah.
You sure?
Tim Reed.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
He's passed on.
My mama's got to play it on that show with Sherman Hemsley where he was the preacher.
Yeah. God, I know exactly. Clifton Davis. Clifton Davis. No, Clifton Davis.
Yeah, that was one of the. Yeah, Clifton Davis.
Yeah, Clifton Davis. Yeah, that's his name. Absolutely. Willa, what's on your heart, Willa?
I'm just listening to all these great shows.
Okay.
When I was small, just like Rigo said, we were kids looking at it as entertainment. You didn't see the message until we got older. And that's what happens sometimes. We miss the real message. It was just entertainment.
Exactly.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Before I go, because I got to get ready to go. I don't want to miss the point about the young people conversation. 75.4 million millennials. That's just a rough estimate. If y'all want something to change, go vote.
Yes, sir.
Go
Yes,
vote.
sir.
You can have what you want as a collective. Go vote.
Participate.
75.4 million.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Remember
That's
that when you think about when you tired of some old folks in your little city that probably keep winning, your mayor don't get but 400 votes. You mess around there and be the mayor of your city, you get 450 people your age to vote for you.
Exactly. And make a change. Y'all have a real party going on there. But anyway, Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
See, man, that's why I hate that you went and changed the subject, man, because there's still some more places to go.
Yeah, a lot.
Man, I had a couple of places I want to hit on with that too, man, because there's a lot of youth, they've been fed that toxic masculinity. And Donald made a key. He said you have to find a way sometimes to reconstruct that bridge. But one thing you got to do is make sure you keep that connection. And in that connection, we got to go back and do some reprogramming on some of this toxic programming that has been delivered. And I had an example of that this past Saturday.
Rico, let me say this. Let me say this. I ain't trying to cut you off, but let me say this right here real quick, man. Y'all hold me. I'm trying to get the will of praying, man. I'm trying to get the will of praying. Y'all holding me up. Y'all holding me up right now.
It was a lot of points missed on that. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because you hear a lot of people our age still spreading this toxic message. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just hearing this point of view, and I'm like, you still think like that? This is terrible. You 50 years old and you still think like that.
We'll start off tomorrow.
A lot of places we could have gone.
No. We'll start off tomorrow talking about that before we get to our main topic for the day. So we'll start off there tomorrow with the youth, and then we'll just transition over to our topic for today. But what's going on at 3:00 today?
If you missed today's program and you would like to see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Willa!
Amen. Come on, Raheem.
Willa!
Come on, Raheem.
Are you ready?
Come on now.
Are you ready?
I am so ready to receive the word of God.
Well, look at here,
so
Willa.
Ready.
Willa, let's go.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
Let us go before the throne of grace with confidence and boldness this morning. Father, we thank you so much for allowing us to get up this morning to see another day, to give us an opportunity to choose whose report we're going to believe. Father, thank you so much for the people that are on this line, Lord, giving them wisdom and guidance, Lord. Father, we thank you so much. We know that you are the one who orchestrates everything. We thank you for it, Lord, even though sometimes this world don't show it. Father, thank you for the power that you bestow on each and every last one. Touch their hearts. Continue to protect their family. Guide them. Give them understanding, Lord. Father, we thank you so much. We thank you for the leader of this show, Lord. Keep allowing it to be successful. That one day somebody will say, thank you, because of your show I listened to. My life has changed. I thank you so much for it, Lord, in the name of Jesus, Lord. Father, we give you the honor, the glory, and the praise this morning. In Christ Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. She's back, y'all. Rico, she's back.
In the house. In the house. I started having a bad look after you went off Thursday.
Willa?
Yes, Lord. Yes, Raheem. I'll be still praising them after I get off. I got to go on mute.
Yeah, I understand. Go ahead, Tucson. You know, she you know what she's talking about. You know exactly what she's talking about.
Hey, you're gonna hear that Rico is a Baptist preacher.
Hey, Ray, tell the truth. When we talked Thursday after we got off, I told you how different. I'm like, I said, something ain't right, man.
Yeah.
I said, my day ain't right. I said, I guess I missed Willa praying.
Yeah, exactly.
And man, Thursday went terrible.
So today's gonna be a good day. Mama cooked the breakfast with
Yeah,
no
of
hog,
course. She is here.
no small.
I couldn't wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have boy say, and Mama cooked the breakfast with no hog. Today is a good day. Oh, yeah, I sidetracked there. But anyway, man, it's been a great broadcast. Anybody got anything before we get out of here? Before I do my close, anybody got anything they want to say before we get out of here? Cassandra, anything on your heart, sis?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anybody have anything on their heart before we get out of here? All right, good deal, good deal. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now, what is it, 10:18? It is now 10:18. You're 10:18, way over. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. Want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light of you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day, and please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Have a great one.